Hey guys, I'm sad to say this is the last episode of Listen Loco. As you'll be able to see at the end of this video, me and Dorn, we had big disagreement. After the disagreement, we were able to talk it out, and we're still really cool with each other. We're going to be doing future content together whenever he needs a guest on his show or whenever I need a guest on mine. For now, this will be the end of Listen Loco. We're closing down the Patreon. We're just discontinuing with the show. I really enjoyed doing the show over the past year, and it's helped me grow a lot, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity that Doran has been able to provide me along with the rest of you guys. So yeah, enjoy this final episode of Listen Loco. Bye for now.
Right, this is episode 97 of Listen Loco, and it's going to be one of those ones about LEC in Europe. The guest is Guilhoto, the coach of the split in spring. Controversial, but whatever. Here's the thing, mate. I always tell people this. It's actually what I'll tell you right now what I messaged to Hortzer when he won I think it was the season 6 summer championship, right? Because at the time I'd never flamed him, but I certainly criticised. Like, I didn't think he was the best top player there. So what I did is, when he won the championship, I just sent him a DM and I just said, at the end of the day, if you actually get to have the trophy, it doesn't really matter who thought what or who thought anyone else was better. You have the trophy.
Yeah.
Like, no one can argue with that. In that sense, you did win that accomplishment.
Obviously, Riot decided
also,
not to give a trophy. Riot
you don't get anything for winning it.
No, the summer before that spring, where I also got it, I got a little trophy. But spring, they just decided that they'll just not give me anything.
Really?
Fucking hell. The downsizing at Riot got out of control now. Like, they had to literally start having worlds be remote. They've cut out fucking trophies.
Whoa, what the hell?
Women
That's
like
so
humans.
weird.
Sorry, did I say that out loud? My bad. Keep going. So anyway,
Wow.
Right. This is my question, though. Oh, yeah, by the way, obviously coach of Origen. This is my question, though, Loco.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't we do an episode about all the LEC rumours last week? Like, am I fucking misremembering something?
Some of that we did do one about all the LEC rumors. Like, all the rosters are confirmed, and there were a little bit more updates compared to last week. But this one should be
Are all rosters confirmed though? Because I actually need to know.
The Schalke Jungle
I just
one.
need to take notes of what I need to say based on rumors and what I don't need to say based on rumors.
Schalke
He'll tell
Jungle
you
one.
if it's a rumor or not.
Schalke Jungle one got filled out today. I forgot it. Fuck. What was it? I think Jacob Wolf reported on it. There
Was it not Memento?
Let me double check. It got reported on today.
Everyone had. What player was it?
Oh no, not Schalke Jungle. Was it Schalke Jungle? Yeah, it is the Schalke Jungle. No, it's Schalke Jungle.
Schalke still needs a jungle.
Yeah, it got reported. I'm trying to double check.
I mean, the joke of the Misfits one is it's like no one knows.
Misfits roster got announced today, right? That is announced.
Yeah, they announced everything.
The whole roster. Okay.
Lorox or something. Yeah. Oh, fuck, I forgot where I wrote it. I should have updated my chart. But yeah.
Or just open it before the show starts, before telling the co-host to start the show.
Okay. Yeah, it's Lorox.
How about clean up your fucking brain?
It's a German jungler named Lorox. I have no idea who this guy is.
All right.
Lurox?
Ever heard of him?
Isn't that their academy jungler
that's
who
their
signed
academy
for
jungle.
2 years for the academy team?
That's the academy jungle. Okay, I'm trolling.
The thing is, I've never heard of the Schalke
Yes.
academy team. Like, I've never followed that. Is it a decent team?
So we basically just were 3 minutes here for a potential rumor being confirmed by him that was actually not confirmed anything. It's just like the academy jungler signed an extension. Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
But all the
That's
European...
the sort of quality you can expect from this show. And we can deliver this shit consistently 2 times a week. So now we're going to be launching our behind the paywall feature, in which you all pay 1 red cent. What's that? None of you will pay? Fuck, we're closing the show down. No, right? Come on then. Here's the thing. Obviously, first things first, we should just ask about Origen, right? Especially because now, obviously, that lineup is completely signed. And in fact, yours was one of the ones, I think, was one of the earliest to officially announce all the players, right?
Yeah, I think we announced like 1 day after the free agency starts, something like that.
Right, there's one thing with that. Okay, listen, I'm going to first of all give a caveat to fans. right? That doesn't mean that they took one day to sign the players and pick them all. Obviously, they technically could have like asked permission to talk to someone before and arrange it, which presumably is what happened, right? You just knew you wanted these players and you just signed them when they were available.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as the obviously the players put a tweet that they are available, that the organization gave them permission to talk to other teams, you can start to talk to them. Obviously, you cannot reach to an agreement or say yes to an agreement, but you can talk to them, get to know what they think about your org and the roster that you're planning to build. And they are not signed in one day, obviously. Just depends if the organization that they belong to gives them or not permission to talk to their teams.
You know, when people make those tweets, is there like some sort of a rule that they all have to do the exact same tweet? Like, why does everyone just spam the same, like, really shit sentence? Like, I am allowed to talk to, like, a fucking robot or something. Are they all to put it that way?
I never put a tweet like that, so I'm not sure how it works, but I'm just assuming that they need to put it a bit more formal due to requirements of the organization. Obviously, to be honest, that tweet is actually garbage, right? I mean, it has no value. You do need to talk to the player, and he needs to have a paper signed from the organization. Otherwise, like, the player can just put a tweet, and then it's their personal tweet, right? So.
Yeah.
Do you know about that, Loco? Is that like a rule they have to do it that way?
So like long time ago when we were on Team Liquid and we were looking at our off season and we wanted to talk to Pobelter, like we'd reach out to Pobelter and we're like, hey, can we talk to you? And then Pobelter's like, yeah, Noah told me yes. And then he's like, but wait a minute, like I have to get a formal paper signed. Like there's like a sheet that Riot has that allows the organization to give to players, and if the owner signs it, then you're freely allowed to talk to other orgs.
Right, thanks. So that had nothing to do with the tweet. Exactly what I was just... You weren't listening again, were you? You were
No, the tweet.
Fucking Twitch chat.
No,
I didn't hear anything about what I just said. Because I asked you a question specifically about the tweet. You didn't bother answering.
So I don't know the exact wording of that paper, but I'm sure in that paper, like it probably says you are publicly allowed, and then they're just taking the wording of that. Because like you said, the wording of the tweet that everyone does is very, very similar. It seems like there's like keywords that needs to be said.
Because even though, I mean, as he said there, no one's recruiting you off a tweet. The thing that I find crazy is players really underestimate how much everyone in the scene knows about them. Like, I might know what you did 3 years ago, but there's a lot of people in like LEC and LCS that came along the last couple of years that weren't even in esports recently. So like, if I was doing one of those tweets, I see people doing tweets where it's like, motherfucker, you were in like an LCS final, like put that in the tweet. Why not put like LCS finalist season 5? You know, I'd even put something in like challenger player season 3 to season 8. I'd just put basic details in just to remind people who you are, that you're alive, mate.
Players are.
I'm actually seeing a lot of different tweets, especially from rookies or players that played in European leagues. I'm seeing some good tweets, image based. They're actually quite good.
The best is like you're saying, get someone like just get a person on the internet who knows how to do infographics and do like a thing like, you know, this season he was in this challenger, he did this accomplishment. That just looks good.
Okay,
I'll win even fans over.
I try to help a lot of players pro bono in the off season, and I've done this for like 2 to 3 years now.
No, I'm trying to help Bono from U2 go fucking pro. That seems makes sense. He's an old man. He works for charity. You fucking idiot. Anyway, keep going.
But I try to help players, and then it's so crazy, kind of the conversation that needs to be had. You should put out an off-season tweet. Why? People already know who I am. I want to talk to them privately. You should talk to the teams privately and reach out to them, but you should put out an off-season tweet so people know you're available. I don't need to do that. Like, I have so much value. It's so degrading for me to do that. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, like, just make your fucking tweet. Like, dude, like, you might not have a team next split because you want to be egotistical. Like, please make this tweet. Here, like, we can work with this graphic artist. Like, we can make a good off-season tweet, but you need to make this tweet. Like,
even though this is not an LCS show, has anyone ever actually told that story about what happened to Immortals and franchising? Has that ever actually come out on anyone's show? Has it ever come out on Travis's show or anything?
No, but
I'm amazed no one ever told that story, aren't you? Because I feel like now, listen, it's not even the same ownership. Surely it's fine to say now.
Sure, if you want to say it, I'm down. I can confirm the parts I know. But
yeah, all I'll say is this was confirmed by many different people in the industry. But I'm not claiming like to be a journalist breaking a story here. This is just like what the rumor is behind the scenes. So basically, it's in line with what Loco's saying though about people who just assume everyone knows. Because you know, famously when they were going to do franchising in NA, when they even like sort of announced the premise, they had that like sit down meeting which looked really pro with like Travis and fucking Noah from Immortals and I think Reggie from TSM and then a couple of people from Riot. And if you remember, because like TSM and Immortals were two of the people pushing forwards the idea, everyone just assumed, right, well, when franchising comes, it'll be, you know, Team Liquid, TSM, Cloud9, CLG, fucking Immortals. Everyone thought, right, these are all a lock-in. And if you remember, everyone was like, what? Oh my God, Immortals didn't make it. What the fuck? And then
they were at Worlds and thing and stuff, right? They were actually at Worlds when they were announced that they were off.
And then they had to sell the squad, etc. But here's the craziest thing that the rumor is. And by the way, again, I have not checked any paperwork. I don't claim to have a first-hand source. This is just the rumor in the industry. This is what's ridiculous, is the rumor in the industry is that everyone else treated it like a really serious thing, like you were joining the NFL or something. They submitted like a whole proposal, you know.
TL had a book,
20 pages, like, oh, well done, written by a lawyer. And apparently the Immortals guys just sent in like...
What is he doing?
He's stupidly trying to like preempt what I'm saying and then think that's clever.
Oh, okay.
You have to learn when he's annoyed, just ignore him. What they did apparently was send in just 2 pages of document, and it was just sort of like, you know, Immortals is at the end, whatever. Like, and compared to literally even shit orgs that no one thinks are good, theirs just looked so terrible that, like, here's the thing, you know what? If that is at all true, I actually changed my position. I don't even mind if Riot didn't let them in if that's true. Like, you should treat it very seriously, like a professional thing, you know. You're signing up essentially to be like a partner for hopefully 10, 20 years. So if that's true, that is such a stupid story. Like, what's next? Like, this makes it sound as though Noah Winston just wrote on the fucking post-it, like, you know who I am, bitch. And then it's like slid it across the table, like, you're not going to get the fucking NFL if you do that, are you? Like, you got to do all, you know, jump through the hoops, check all the, like Loco said, doesn't matter if they know you are, still act professionally and, you know, present yourself in a certain way. If that isn't true, by the way, it's a brilliant story, so I wish it was, you know.
So I heard it from 3 different sources. One from like Riot side, one from team side, and then one from Immortal side. So I heard it from so many different places, and you and I hadn't discussed this rumor before, and the fact that you heard the same rumor, like, we just heard it from way too many different places for this to not be true.
It also just makes more sense
on the league scene.
Nah, we don't. But if you notice, the main people who know we don't have insight are people who aren't actually involved at all themselves and desperately wish they still were. And please let me back in the front. I could carry more. No, never mind. I was going in the whole thing. Right. Let's ask about Origen, though. That's what we started to do at the beginning there. So first of all, let's just go with the controversial one, right? Yeah. From the outside, initially, people were like, who the fuck is an Oceanic player? Never seen any of these guys. Now, I remember I actually heard that the story that then came around the scene was that when this team that he was on, I forget the name of the team now, but it's the one that won the
Mammoth.
There you go. It's the one that won the OPL. I don't spawn on the last episode. He even repeated this, that when they came to Worlds, the playing section, and they were in Europe, they obviously could scrim it in Europe with the teams. And supposedly, is this where you got kind of your eyes on this guy?
I mean, it came from different sources. First one, Jack, our analyst case, already worked with him back in Dire Wolves, I believe, when he was in Australia. And then this year, when they came to Europe, I was helping, or not helping, but assisting some scrims of a regional team that was participating in EU Masters, and they were scrimming against them. And it's actually a team with quite a good players, especially bot laners, and he was having really good results and really good performances against them. He also reached to Challenger with like 70 or 60% win ratio on 700 points. I knew he had been ranked 1 for 3 straight seasons in Oceania, reached in close to Challenger in Korea. So his mechanics were proven. And when I compared them, watching those scrims with one of the best rookie supports, and I saw that he was actually at least during that scrim block better. And then we pulled him into tryouts against a different support, and he also showed good results. Then it just made natural sense for us to go for someone like him, who would bring like a big hunger from being from a region like Oceania, and he would bring some mechanics as well, and a lot of things that we were looking for, compared to a rookie support, which is in my opinion, at least compared to other roles in Europe, is probably the role with the least amount of talent. Not saying that it has like a low amount of talent, just compared to the other roles, is the least one.
Right, what there, one sec. Since he mentioned Kays, who, if everyone remembers, in the summer joined Origen and was like working with those guys, right? Since we've had Kays on this show, and I actually fuck with him, I think he's an interesting guy. He's got an interesting take on all the teams, and I actually personally, I believe his story that he had something to do with some of the teams that he was on having success. Like, I think when you have that track record, you'd have to be pretty lucky to just keep doing well everywhere you go. So, in light of saying all that, I'll now flame him, right? Because here's the joke. I'll repeat the one I did on Twitter, right? My joke was this. The reason why Origen had to recruit Kays, because he's the only man in the world that knows how to lose a best of 5 faster than Origen does to G2.
He's also the only man in the West who knows how to win a best of 5 against China.
That's pretty good. That is pretty good. It's true. That's one of the reasons I said I thought he was pretty interesting. Because obviously, here's the thing, right? There's no way those teams just played straight up. Like, obviously, they had strategy and they were figuring out what was going on. But anyway, going back to this topic, when you said there, like, at the end, you did like a little disclaimer, like, I'm not saying all the talent's bad, blah, 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 the rest of it. Like, if I go and talk to other people in Europe, they're going to throw a whole bunch of names out at support. Like, what fucking Heaver, Lavrov, Mystiques, like what? None of these players on the radar?
I think, for example, Lavrov is a case where he's obviously really good, and he will be soon one of the best supports in Europe. But he's at school; he cannot play the LEC. Right. So
okay.
Then on the case of Mystics, which I also consider is a good support. I know him better than most of people. I don't think it's like. I think he would be someone that you would need to develop a lot, and with the roster that we've built, we are also aiming to not have to develop as much, and I assume that he would require more work than at the moment we are willing to put on the support role, or at least for the amount of time that we are willing before collecting the payoff of that work. But all of these supports, like, people will just have to trust in a way. I mean, we didn't compete yet. I can't prove it through results or anything. People just have to trust that we had a really long off season and that we scouted all of these names, and that we are just confident that Destiny will perform better than these names that people just pull out there just because we imported someone from a minor region.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like, as you said, the one thing I'll definitely agree with completely, I don't know how good the Destiny guy is, so I can't claim whether he was the right pick, but one thing I will agree with is, I do think support was actually the weakest role that we have in Europe, if you look at both, like, national level and LEC. It's just that it ends up, people didn't think that, because we had 2 of the very best supports in the world, so it made it, like, skewed it a bit. But once you dropped off from the top supports, it went really far down.
I mean, that's the thing, right? You can't really go into an off-season and thinking that you will ever get a support that in the first year will compete with Hylissang or Mithy. That's just impossible. That support just doesn't exist. So you look to the qualities that would fit better for your team, and that's what we did.
Okay. Right. Obviously, there's 2 other players who are new players to your team, but let's just stay in the bot lane. So you recruited Upset, someone who, I mean, it's funny enough because he actually reminds me a little bit of the person you just had before, Patrick. Like, they're both in that category where people want to hype him. So what they do is when they have the really good games, people go nuts for him. When they have the bad games, well, at least until Patrick's in your team, it's always like, well, the team shit anyway, so that doesn't count. And it's like, it gets really hard with players like that to get a sense of like, how good actually are they? So the thing is, to me, same with when Patrick was in your team. In my opinion, when Upset gets a squad like this, now's the time to be the superstar, if that's who you are.
I think that's someone, or that's something for most of the players in our roster. No, I mean, I think you can say the same about Nuktak, and honestly, you can say the same about Xerxes and Alfari as well. In the case of Upset, I've obviously worked with both Patrick and Upset, so I do have quite a good idea into what AD carry I would like the most in my team. I do think Patrick is really, really good, and honestly, if I do feel that Upset is an upgrade, and if it wasn't for Upset, then we would stick with Patrick. It has nothing, or at least this change has nothing to do with Patrick. We just think that Patrick is bad, so we are kicking Patrick. It's actually the opposite. We just think that Upset is an upgrade, and he is, in my opinion, one of the best, or actually the best in some cases, AD carry in Europe. So it was just a natural pick off for us. It's also something that. It's just something that we're also looking for compared to last year, where we would reach to some late game team fights, and we just needed someone also like clutch. You also always need that guy that is clutch, and you know that if you reached one of those hard situations, he can be one of those players that will just make the play that will turn the whole game around. And Patrick was not doing that as much. Might be as well from the team setup, but Upset is obviously someone visible to do it, and that was also one of the reasons why we went for it.
Did you think you guys were going to land Upset in like the off-season process? Because when Upset got the NA offers, like some of the numbers I heard were crazy, and it wasn't just from like one team, it was from several teams, and it was from top-tier teams also that were going to have good rosters around them.
I mean, to be fair, NA never actually scared me that much, because Upset is what, 99ers, so like 20 years old, or he will do 20 in this month. I don't think he wants to retire yet, and a lot of the mentality. No, you think that I'm joking, but actually not. Like I felt a lot of the mentality.
He wants to win, right?
Yeah, but I felt a lot of the mentality in Europe was like that. Like Europe or America could have like thrown those numbers, but I felt that the people that went to America instead of Europe were they just couldn't get a good enough team in Europe, so they went to America. Otherwise, like even if their standings can't be as good as, for example, if they went to America, their level would just stagnate. They wouldn't improve. Historically, really good European players went to America and none of them improved. Really good Korean players went to America and none of them improved. So, and now Europe got 2 years in a row to the final, so they just believe that it's a really good region and the pride of Europe is rising, not only from Twitter analysts or coaches of people already in the LEC, but also from young prospects that aspire to one day be playing in the league and be playing not only between the best in Europe, but between the best in the world.
Okay. Right. One question I have is, because obviously you alluded to it before, you obviously worked with Upset when you were in Schalke, and at the same time you had Locodoco as well, so some components of the team are back together again, right? One thing I was interested in is, in last year's team in Origen, one of the things I thought was both good and bad is like every player in terms of the main laners were all like among the best or on the brink of being the best, but they weren't the best. And so it was like, in theory, it gave you lots of options. You could play many different ways. You could set up the whole map, as actually obviously some people would say your team maybe did to a fault, going for every fucking dragon. But anyway, put that to one side.
Yes,
what
that is true.
The hype around Upset was always that you have to play the team around him. Like that's what they did in Schalke. You have to set up. Does he have to be a different player if he's in Origen now? Do you want him to run the team around Upset and he's going to be the best player?
I mean, I'm going to talk based on the 2 days of scrims that we had already, of course. I think that Upset in most of the teams that he was in, including my interaction of Schalke, like if you wanted to win the game, you had to play through Upset. Chachi is an amazing player, but he's an amazing supportive player. He was not going to carry. He was not going to carry the game. Last year, a lot of respect from Odoamne, but he was not going to carry the game. So you had to play through Upset. If Upset was not ahead, then your team was just going to lose. In this case, I don't think that's true. We already won, obviously, or we already. I mean, it's preseason, so who cares? But we had successful games with Upset playing weak side, and it's something that we talked a lot. I mean, he now trusts that his top side of the map can win games, and he saw at Worlds top sides of the map winning games as well. So he's also way more willing to not have resources of the jungler or roaming mid laners or whatever for his lane, because at the end of the day, he's one of those players that just has the mindset that he wants to win. And if at his eyes the best way to win is through him, then he's going to require that to be played. And if at his eyes his top side of the map gives him the best opportunity to win as well, then he's also going to do that.
Okay. Do you have any other questions about Upset?
Naturally, he's going to be biased towards like winning from bot side of the map. How do you deal with that bias?
So something that I like to do, obviously it wouldn't work in teams like TSM, for example, is empowering the jungler a lot in early game. I mean, it's just a fact. So something that I want from my team is Xerxes is responsible for early game decisions. And Upset, he's actually a really vocal player, Upset. He can give all the input that he wants. But my job right now is to empower and making sure that the team knows that whatever Xerxes decides is what we are going to do early game. And after that, we'll go into review and we'll see if the decision was right or wrong. But no matter what, he is responsible and everyone will follow whatever decision he did.
Yeah. That's actually really good, and it's a similar thing that I did with junglers, and I think a lot of coaches do. when you're not given the choice to make your own decision, it's really hard to stand by it, and it's really hard to learn from it. Like, I ganked top because my top laner was like calling for the gank. Like, no, you gank top if you want to gank it. If you don't want to gank it, doesn't matter what your top laner says. Like, you choose where to go, so you can actually learn from the decisions. And I hope that's something, a lot more junglers get to do, so they actually get better with how important the jungle role is right now.
I mean, and that's something that Xerxes offers really well. It's like, it's not that easy for most of the junglers. If you see how Upset communicates, which is actually really active, it's hard to say, no, I will not gank your lane. But Xerxes is one of those guys that, like, he sees his plan, he gets the information around him. If he thinks that a gank bot is bad, then just answers to Upset. Play the wave in a way that I will not be there in the next 2 minutes of the game. And Upset does it, it's not like he will cry for a gank or anything like that. It's actually the opposite.
Thing is, though, when you say that, like, I could almost make an obvious joke there. Like, if you want to train Upset not to call for ganks, just make Cersei his fucking jungler. It's like, well done. Listen, this guy turned down every gank he ever wanted to fucking do in the first place. Like, that's the question I have. Is Cersei going to be the same jungler in this team that he was in Splice?
I hope so. At the early Splice, at least. Like, Xerxes, if you look at stats, at least, he was the most active early game jungler in the league. Paired up with Jankos, actually. Had the biggest gold lead in terms of jungler. If you see pre-week 7, no, it's
no, I'm just saying that's not actually how stats work. Like, that's not actually how stats work.
Yeah, that's why. That's
like, I'm not hating on you. I'm just saying, keep going.
Pre-week 7 of Splice, you could see one of the annoying parts of playing against Splice is that level 3, no matter what, he would gank top or mid every single game. He was doing that, and then something changed and he stopped ganking somehow. So that's the Xerxes that I want.
Right.
I do agree with you that during Worlds and post at week 7 and including in the Gauntlet, he was playing way more PV, farming machine, and trying to get ahead and trying to carry the game his own and not involving his laners. But we also know by talking to him what happened, the reasons behind it, and from seeing what he did before, not only that year but the year before as well at Splice, just gives me a lot of confidence that he will be able to get back to that.
Okay, but there's as always with every roster move, there's another side to that move. So one of the things I don't know if he's ever mentioned it on the show when he's been on. I see we face check he did with you, but I know Veteran actually is like the biggest fan of Cold in all of Europe. Like, he literally last year, I think it was in the beginning of the summer split, he thinks Cold was the best jungler in LEC because of the fact like you guys had amazing like early game, he was setting up the map very well. Like, this guy now is completely out of the league. Now, obviously, there's some sort of a circumstance. It sounds as though it's some sort of real life circumstance. He says he can't tell the story yet, but he's sort of going to eventually. Can you tell us, like, in the actual season, what happened to Cold the jungler? Because if he was so good at the beginning of the split, by the end of the split, it seemed like he specifically was having problems in Origin.
In summer?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, that is a topic. If Jonas can talk about it, I also can't.
It's it is a topic. Game, though. It's not something.
It's not. I mean, obviously, it's something that affects him, that affected him in game, but he has nothing to do with, like, I don't know, that he was just a bad player. It has nothing to do with that.
It wasn't that he had the wrong philosophy of the game or something. Like, okay.
No. It's something from the outside that affected him, and that's it. I mean,
was it actually you guys who had the choice then on whether to take him for this year, or did he actually himself just choose to go?
I mean, we were forced to play with Zanzara in the Gauntlet, right? So.
Oh, fair enough then. Okay.
I mean, right. we just couldn't wait until a final decision was made by him.
Seeing as you only kept 2 players, what is the new OG supposed to be like as a team? Do you have a vision yet for how it's going to be in terms of style, or what you think the strengths should be?
So obviously, when you build a roster, you kind of plan out a bit, and my ideal scenario is to create a team that can win. And in order to do that, first of all, I need to match mechanically the best teams in Europe, and second off, I need to be able to be in a way where I can win through every single lane, or that every single lane and jungler have the ability to, if ahead, guide the team to victory. But the style and all of that, it's obviously something not defined yet. I think G2 is the only one that will have a base ground for next year, because they keep all 5 members. All the other teams will have to find strengths and weaknesses inside of the team, how to divide communication responsibilities, and that's what our bootcamp is for, right? That's what we will do. In terms of style, the only thing that I'm hoping right now is to be able to win through Barney, to Erland, through Alfari, through Nukeduck, and through Upset and Destiny. And I think that from what I saw so far, that is definitely possible. But of course, there's a lot of things to work on yet.
So one thing about roster building that Duncan mentioned regarding like styles and stuff, I'm curious if it's different in Europe compared to traditional sports where you have...
Of course it's different. It's better. Loco, please.
In traditional sports, you have salary cap, so you have to make sacrifices somewhere. But in esports, like most teams don't have salary cap and there's a lack of talent. So more so than being like, oh, I want to get this style of team, teams just put together the absolute best roster possible. You just get the best player. Like you don't really think about like how you divide up resources. Oh, this player was really good last year. I don't care if it's going to be good for the players I have already. I want the best players possible. Like what was you guys' overview in terms of like going for the roster? Did you want the best players possible? Was there a certain stylistic like matchup that you wanted within the players?
We did had a budget that we had to be kept in. I think in Europe most teams, or every team has. I think that is more an NA thing where you can overspend, and that's why we see the ridiculous numbers that we just saw. But obviously inside of that budget, the goal is to have the best roster possible, and the roster. The one thing that I do appreciate a lot from this roster is that, and I said it on an interview already, that a lot of people made sacrifices for this roster to be possible to build. And that just shows me how much the group of players that I have and the group of staff that I have wants to win. That's something that I do value a lot. And the joy that I'm having this past couple of days of working with this team based on that passion as well is really, really big. Now answering more to your question, obviously the goal is to build the best roster possible with the budget that every team has available, and sometimes you'll have to make sacrifices here and there in terms of a position. Unfortunately, it just wasn't our case this year.
You hear that, Loco? People actually made sacrifice. He was implying basically like the Tom Brady shit, like they took less money or something.
Yeah, they took pay cuts.
See, don't ever judge people. Don't judge a book by its cover, as we say in English, right? Just because in the game, Nukeduck will never give up a single fucking wave of minions his entire life doesn't mean outside the game he's not different. Maybe he's a charitable guy. I don't know.
Dude, in NA, I heard about that too. Like people making sacrifices. But it's kind of like forced sacrifices in NA. Like, for example, a team has a certain player that they're pretty happy with and they're trying to get a big free agent. And to land the free agent, they cannot tell the free agent, like, you need to take less money. There's a certain number that the free agent wants, right? The free agent wants $100 and he will not take a cent less than $100. Okay. So what they have to do is tell the players that they already have, you're getting paid $50 right now. Instead of you getting paid $50, we really want to get Faker. So you're going to have to take $40 next year. And they give the free agent $100, like no matter what. The free agent will not take a pay cut, and it's always like the people within the roster taking the pay cuts or the budget like going overboard. So
I can tell you everyone involved made sacrifices.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Wow.
There we go. Here's the thing, actually, Loco. You've just made me realise there, we could have actually solved that whole Sneaky in Cloud9 scenario. Because obviously he thinks he should still be in Cloud9. All of his fans think he should be. So what they should have done is just do a Kickstarter. And if it got to like, fucking 200k, that's the stretch goal. He's in. If it gets to 300k, he does, I don't know, fucking boudoir set or something. Whatever. You know how to make the goals. You know how to make a Patreon, baby. So that's what you should have done. When about fucking $150 went into it, you could maybe just take that $150, buy some liquor in like a brown paper bag, sit on the fucking corner of LCS Road and drink that on that broken boulevard of dreams, thinking about his career. Anyway, this isn't an LCS show. Why am I flaming LCS player? Back to you.
It's so easy, you know? It's
just low hanging fruit, isn't it?
That's exactly what happened. Jacob Wolf reported on it too, and I also heard the story about it too. Sneaky could have joined Dignitas. There was a number where Sneaky was going to join Dignitas at, and that number could not be met from Dignitas' end, and Sneaky didn't join. Like, he'd rather not play if that number isn't met, and that's
Dignitas was like, listen, our org was literally named after a clinic where people pay to kill themselves. But I'm sorry, Sneaky, even we won't pay that much to have you join our LCS. Anyway, it's all to one side. Let's get back into Europe. Let's actually talk about Europe.
Okay.
Like, how about this? Right? Are there any actual roster moves since we did the episode of Grabs? Like, were there any players that we were actually missing, aside from the guy that you tried to look up that you didn't get the answer for?
So,
was there actually players that we didn't know at the time?
Mad Lions is confirmed now?
Yeah, Mad Lions fully confirmed, and also SK, instead of getting Steel back, they got Limit, and Misfits roster is also fully confirmed.
I have never heard the rumor of Steelback, by the way. I think literally you, Loco, created that rumor.
Oh, me? What? No, I didn't create any rumors, like, for Europe.
What about this, though?
Okay.
Here's the thing. Yeah, okay, let's imagine it wasn't a real rumor.
Yeah.
First of all, is that not a player you considered, Steelback? Listen, I don't watch that level of play, but all the people, I've seen like the odd game of him, and all the people I heard said actually he was a really good support now.
I mean, I do have a couple of feedbacks that might have inclined me to go a bit away from Steelback. Plus,
are you surprised he isn't in LEC though?
No.
Oh, so maybe it was just overhyped.
I mean, no, I wouldn't say overhyped. I just think that, for example, people would go more for a player like Limit and Gistic, not because they are better than Steelback, but just because they are younger. I'm not saying
the freeze scenario.
I'm not saying I agree. Yeah, I'm not saying that I agree or not. I'm just not surprised because of that. You know what I mean, right?
I actually think from looking at the freeze scenario, that's basically what everyone in Europe did. You either just sign the top players, or you just say, "I'll get a rookie and gamble." Like, you don't go for the player who's sort of okay, but might
yeah. But the freeze one is actually interesting because outside of the B-Voy guy, who would you actually take to put freeze?
Not
let me think. What are the positions? Who have we got? Who's the SK gaming? Oh, that's Crown Shot. Yeah, he's not bad. Let me think. Who else have we got? So XL has Patrick. Fair enough. What
Vitality Comp.
Wait a minute. No, actually, here's the thing. Even though people said the comp guy was like all right,
he's supposed to be amazing.
It depends what type of team they have. I heard he was pretty decent, but he's like a reckless player, so I'm just getting ready for that.
Comp is a rumor, so I'm not gonna confirm.
The Kazi guy has mad hype around him, so fair play. Who else is even left of the teams? I guess you're right. There's not really that many teams left, is there?
Upset. It's with us, obviously. Then there's Reckless and Perks / Caps.
Is there anyone else? Is that all the teams?
Yeah.
Forgiven.
And Forgiven.
Oh, Forgiven, yeah. Well, then I guess there really isn't anyone.
That's the thing. I honestly think Freeze is really good.
I think LCS is the one that looks terrible. Like LCS, he could be in like fucking 6
in almost every team. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
I just think that the pool of AD carries in Europe this year is really strong.
Oh, it's the best ever for AD carry.
Yeah, with the addition of Forgiven coming in, with Comp and Karzi playing in the LEC. But the B-Fi is just something that I don't understand. That honestly,
and that's another key thing as well. Everyone knows mid lane, obviously a classic one. I think last year top lane got some love. This year, AD carry in Europe, as you just said there when you were listing them, it's fucking amazing. Even the people who don't have a big name have the hype that actually justifies that they could be a good player. So that bot lane's going to be fucking killer.
But going back into the Steelback. Especially before Gauntlet, we did scrim against them as well, against LDLC, and he played well. I consider him to be a good support. He actually surprised me. I wasn't expecting him to be as good as he is, but he's really good on supports that perform a role on a team that I'm not. That was not what I was looking for. I did not see him playing a lot of engages. I see him playing a lot of duelist and a lot of roamers that would match Joko playstyle a bit in LDLC, and that would be able to roam a lot mid. And they would not play a big engaged style. It was more a pick-off comps instead of enemy jungle and stuff like that. And I really needed a support that was proven talent on engaging. I saw him a lot of good games with Pyke, a lot of good games with Thresh, but I didn't see many of his games with Nautilus, with Alistar. Obviously, Alistar was not really on the meta since he's playing support, but that was something that I was not really able to see, and for that reason, going for someone that was more proven on that style was more important for me than Steelback. Actually, and that's also the reason when I say that I'm not surprised. Like it's not that I don't think he deserves to be. I think he deserves to be. It's just that I can understand the other options instead of him.
Sure.
That's why I'm not surprised.
Thing is, Loco, actually, now that I think about it, even though actually I hadn't stopped and put every single team out like that, obviously the one team that's inexcusable is, he should in theory be on Misfits by that logic. But actually, you know what? I wouldn't wish that on Freeze. That's like you're seeing your mate really pissed drunk at the bar and he's hitting on that fat girl just at closing time. It's like, bro, just go home, sleep it off. It ain't worth it. Just wait. There'll be other chances. There'll be another day, bro. So actually, that makes perfect sense. So let's talk about some of these teams then.
Wait,
first of all,
before we move on to another team, there's one OG question that I do want to ask Andre.
Oh my god.
So Cave is supposed to be like a legendary analyst, like from Fnatic and then going to TL. Like he took Fnatic to finals and then he helped TL beat IG. So there's a lot of credit gone to him. And when TL didn't do that well at Worlds, and Cave made the tweet, "Oh, I wish they listened," or something like that, something vague. Like all the TL fans were talking about, man, if he had Cave, like if he still had Cave, we would have made it out of groups. Like Cave knew what to do for us internationally. Like, is he that good of an analyst? Like, you don't have to tell us exactly what he does, but is there like things he does that's different, that's special from the other analysts?
I wanted to have Case in my team since we talked and I saw some of his work after the finals between Schalke and Fnatic. And one day I saw that he was released from TL, and it was Christmas for me, honestly. It was literally Christmas. So I think he's the best analyst in the West, and I say in the West because I don't know the Eastern quality of analysts, but he's really, really fucking good.
Okay.
What makes him different?
Loco. Okay, go on.
What makes him different? Like, what makes him so special compared to the other analysts?
I'll just fucking go on Marshall, see ya.
Oh, so...
Whatever, keep going. Yeah, go on, answer his question.
Yeah, I mean, Loco, like you asked me to not, I don't have to specify what he does, and then you ask me that question. But it's
something
fine.
general
It's
that
just,
you can give us.
Yeah,
What he does is analyse the game and then tell them
Yes.
stuff, and if they do it correctly, then they go, "Thanks, fucking
Like-
Case. You're a fucking idiot, aren't you? I can't lie."
I'll give you an example. The way that he presents things is really, really easy to understand and to memorize by an esport player. And most of the analysts just don't care about the content that is there and not the way that is presented. That is one example that I can give you.
There you go. So he was very careful with how he phrased that, though. He just said in a way that players would understand. What he does is, when he's in Mackie D's, he goes, "See this chicken nugget? That's the jungler coming in. And this sauce packet, now stop eating this fries, Alfari. The sauce packet is you avoiding the gank." No, here's the thing, Loco.
Yeah.
When I said before, he seems legit. I have a mega, like, an unbelievable radar for bullshit and people who are liars. And that's the key thing. I don't claim like I know people, but I have a really good ear for when people are lying and they are like saying shit even they don't believe in, and they're just making stories up and stuff. And tell you what, everyone else flamed us when we did that episode with him on the show. I thought the stuff he was saying made a lot of sense, sounded very grounded, sounded actually like he knew what he was talking about. The problem is, he just put a bit of spice on it, and he did the reverse Guilhoto. Like, he flamed Europe a bit, didn't he? He flamed Fnatic a bit. So the problem is, all the EU fanboys were just getting super mad and triggered, whereas they didn't stop and think, he was in Europe, he fucking was with Fnatic. Why are you guys so one-track minded? So I would just say this. I know you can't literally just judge like how good an analyst is based on the team, but I will just say this. He was with Team Liquid the first part of the year. They won the fucking league. They were like MSI, beat IG. Then when he wasn't with Team Liquid, all the playoff series of 5 games, they go to Worlds. They actually, I think, were in position, in my opinion, to get out the group. They didn't get out the group. Just like, I can't say that was all on him, but if he was actually good, I imagine it'd help. Like, who the fuck did they replace him with? Anyone you know?
I have no idea, but
Exactly.
They kept the guy that was with him.
Oh,
I
TK.
believe.
They're old analysts then.
Jordy.
Huh, I have no idea who Jordy is, but I know TK still works at
I have
TL.
no idea who TK is. So
But-
there we go.
Well,
And they had no idea what the fuck they were doing, so it all makes sense.
there was an NA org that was also courting Cave, and I was actually helping them out at the time, so I got to see
Why?
one of the...
You're my competitor.
So I got to see what some of the stuff Cave did, and I did think he was different than other analysts because the information was presented very, very simply for people to understand. It was a lot, but he presents it in a manner where it's very easy to take away what you need to take away. A lot of the analysts,
What I said.
yeah, they just keep putting stats on top of stats on top of stats.
Yeah.
Where Cave is like, this team does this is how we should exploit this, and it's really easy for players to take in.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Right, what team do you want to switch to?
Oof, there's so many teams to flame.
What's the funnest one? What's like obviously
I
5 minutes of flaming it. So
yeah, I think Mad Lions is a curious one because I saw on some of the Locos show some stuff were just lies.
There's a lot of hype around that team, so you're not buying it?
I mean, depends. I'm buying on some. I'm not buying on others. I'm not buying on Shadow. I'm a bit skeptical of the role they offer Rome, and I'm completely buying on their bot lane. On their bot lane, I'm let's go. But honestly, like I think it was on one of your shows.
It must have been Veteran, because Veteran or Dom are
just
the ones
like praising a lot Shadow, and honestly, from actually watching him and hearing him communicate, but like I had access to comms because he was obviously someone that we were scouting since we were looking for a jungler, and I'm not on his hype train. He's really young. He can become really good, and I think that. One thing that Mad Lions do have is quite a good staff, especially for a really young roster. But when I was hearing that he's really good communicating with his support, I don't think that's true, or at least that wasn't true when I was hearing his comms. And that he's like really smart or something, I also don't think that's true. At least I'm just really surprised that a jungler like Zanzara didn't get a team over junglers like Shadow, and I think Zanzara is like 5 times better. And about Torome is just that I think he needs to have a role of a captain in that team, and I think he can indeed perform that role. He has the personality to do it, but it's obviously a lot to ask for a rookie. So I just want to see how he can perform that role. And their bot lane is just going to be extremely good. I think both Gistik and Karzi are exceptional players. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. So where are these like rookies from, and what are the levels of the league like the rookies are from? Because I know which are the leagues that are. Wait, no. I know.
League.
Yeah, I know that they're from National League. Yeah, which leagues they're coming from?
First of all, Arome came from the Splice Vipers, so he was in the LVP, which is one of the best leagues.
He did. I believe he stopped playing Splice Vipers when Splice went to the Gauntlet because he was one of the subs, so he couldn't play. So he couldn't play there. But they had a 10-man roster. He was sharing spot with Yopa. He was indeed performing better than Yopa. He was one of the better top laners in the LVP. Not saying that I think that the level of top laners in the LVP was not that high. I mean, Antonio or Di Antonio playing tanks was one of the best top laners in the league. So, but he even from previous situations, I think he's really good.
This team basically, Loco, it all depends. You have to know everything about national leagues to have any clue whether they're going to be good or not. So I will say, Veteran and Kelsey, I seem to hype them a lot. I think it's like basically like a super team of people available from that level. Right? One player that you didn't mention, though, I noticed when you were going through all the names, you never mentioned the mid lane, and that's the person I heard from everyone. It's like he's supposed to be a lock, right? He's supposed to be guaranteed to be good.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the rookies of their roster, right? Okay. We already saw the quality of Humanoid. I think that he performed really well. I'm actually curious to see how he would perform with a jungler like Shadow, who with the information that I have, which is actually not hearsays, it's like from actually watching and listening how he will perform. He needs to take a lot of responsibility on that communication between the 2v2 mid jungle, and I will not say if he can do that or not because I just don't know. So that's just to wait. But in his individual skills, I think he's exceptional. One of the best mid laners in Europe already. So that is like the stepping stone of the team. I just feel that from knowing a bit Orome, that he will have a bigger responsibility in terms of leading the team inside of the game than Humanoid. But I might be wrong.
Well, here's the thing. One reason why I think that speculation makes sense, like logically, is within the team, all the hype by among all the players in Europe was that in the last Splice lineup, it was basically just Cersei and fucking Vizicachi who were like the leaders. They calmed everything. They kind of like shot called them out. Well, obviously neither of them are there now. You've got a rookie jungler, and in theory, as you said, even though he's experienced, you've got a rookie top laner as well. So that's a lot of pressure to make a rookie a shot caller or a leader. Like that's a big responsibility.
Yeah, it's also a weird role to be a shot caller. So I think that responsibility will naturally surpass to a different member. I think he'll be more of a captain in terms of like calming the team down when stuff are going not on the best way inside of the game, trying to give a good example in outside of the game. I think he can perform that role. But in terms of shot calling, I don't know how Gistic is in terms of communication. No idea. But I believe that I mean they will make it work. Like in LEC, the good thing about LEC is that most of the failures that these guys had in the EU Masters are usually surpassed not only by how young they are, but like how a jump of quality in terms of practice they get. And in order to make that team work, some of these players will need to step up into roles that they are not used to. I know that this support and jungle already played together, so they probably already have some kind of system. But maybe Humanoid will have to step up in communication if he wasn't doing it before. Maybe if Gistic doesn't talk too much in lane, Karzi has to step up if he wasn't doing it before, because I know that Labrov was a support that actually speaks. But even though I'm skeptical about the quality of their jungler and if their top laner can or not perform a good role in terms of being the captain, I do think that they will succeed, especially by the quality or the individual quality that their bot lane and their mid laner have.
Right. Obviously, this would be pure speculation. I'm not asking for any like secret information, but if you look at this lineup and you consider when they were spliced, they had some very established names. Do you think that they purposely, even though these are in theory prospects, did they also want a cheaper team?
I don't think it's a cheaper team. That's the thing.
Okay.
I'm not sure, obviously, how much they are spending. I do know that both Karzi and Gistic were really, really disputed between a lot of teams. Rome was obviously already hired or already on their academy lineup. Humanoid as well. Shadow, I have no clue. I don't think he was disputed by any other team than Mad Lions. But I think their bot lane, maybe it's probably a bit expensive because a lot of teams were trying to go for both of those players. And I think that Splice was also not paying much last year. So I don't know if it's. I think that they probably just kept their budget. But if they can't get the top talent, then might as well just look for younger talent. And they got, in theory, some of the best talent in EU Masters. I mean, it's just a luxury that EU teams can have, and that NA teams can't.
I heard Gistic.
By the way, yeah, go on.
I heard Gistic was like a name amongst like NA teams that were being looked at, so he must have gotten like really good offers from NA. Even if he can't be like, NA is willing to pay me $100, like I want you to give me $100 also. Like he can use that to leverage. So I'm sure his salary must have been on the higher end.
What?
He says he heard NA teams were trying to get Gistic.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I know he was disputed, but I don't know by how many. I mean, I know those two were. I don't know about Shadow. Maybe he was actually. I don't know.
This is basically the team, though, where all the stuff I've been saying on the show for the last year, that like NA teams, their number one priority should be get a scout that lives in Europe and follows all the National League scene and follows all the top players, follows solo queue and scouts the next good players. This team will prove if I'm right. Because if this team ends up being like playoff team contending, what that will show Loco is, what do you think? This is just the luckiest year of all time. That in 2019, all these amazing rookies came through and we're never going to get any more. And it was just like, that was only the 50 good. No, what that shows is that Europe is a talent factory and it's like China. And if you can really scout the guy early, you can have a pretty good chance he'll be good if he really shows some signs and he already can compete. The good thing about the National League level is it's like a mimic of the LCS. It isn't the same, obviously, but you get to see things like, can they work in a team? I even think one of the good angles is, can they work with players that are sometimes inferior than them if they're potential prospects? And they might have to work with somebody who is shit. Well, unlike in academy where people just mail it in and go, who gives a fuck? You have to actually try. So I think you get a sense of who these people are. So I hope next year, I mean, I say I hope, I actually secretly hope none of the fucking NA teams ever get these players. I do for the players so they get a good salary, but I'd like NA to just crash and burn. Like you guys just make a super team with Licorice and then.
I don't know how NA teams would get these rookies because like they made offers to them and they offered more money and they don't want to come.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
So
Here's what's different, Loco. Here's what's different.
Oh no,
I'm genuinely serious when I say this, and I'm not trying to draw with too broad strokes. I don't claim to know what like fucking 18-year-old kid in like Czechoslovakia, Czech Republic now would be like. I don't obviously not down with the youth or whatever the fuck. But if I had to guess, right, I actually genuinely think if you asked a 19-year-old American kid, what would you rather have, like a good team or $1 million? He'd go, oh, $1 million, bitch, in the club, look at this shit. If you asked a European player, he would actually go, by good team, do you mean that could be on like fucking like Fnatic? He'd just take that instantly. Who the fuck wouldn't take that? Like, when you're 20, what are you going to do with $1 million? You know, fuck, you haven't got a house. You probably don't even pay rent at that point in time. All you do is just buy a nicer pair of sneakers. Like, I'd way rather be on a team and actually have a chance to go to Worlds and do some crazy shit. Play Faker.
Yeah, that's the thing. It kind of changed when Europe got to the finals 2 times. I mean, now people, I mean, rookies included, just start believing. Like, why would a rookie go to NA?
Oh, here's an even better reason. Forget that G2 and Fnatic made the finals. Splice managed to miraculously make top 8. You could get a bullshit draw and a not even that good team. It's impossible. It's not even impossible. This thing can happen.
Yeah, but
and they were in the group with the champions of the whole tournament, right? And what about Liquid?
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
That's the thing, though, Duncan. You're talking to NAWorks about like scouting for EU talent. Like even when they scout for EU talent and they have the right one, like they just don't want to leave. Like it doesn't matter the money. I guess they don't offer like 3 times, 4 times the money. Right now, it's about like double the money they're offering. But we can't even have access to the EU rookies.
3 times is pretty safe to say, actually.
Really? Well, then we can't even get the EU rookies.
Players, yeah.
We can't get EU rookies with 3 times the salary. So I don't think we're ever going to get EU rookies if that's the case.
I mean, you have treats.
I guess that's it.
What the fuck are you talking? Why are you talking shit on TSM Academy right now, you little dirty man? You're the sort of cocksucker who's like, tactical and treats are really good. Oh, what team would you put them on, Loco? They're really good on the TSM Academy. Like, shut up. Like, I'm so sick of that narrative. It's the way people in NA have the gall to big up the players on their academy, and then they have like a spot open, and they're like, "Get that guy the fuck away! Keep him in the academy squad." It's like you obviously don't. It's like a prison for these players.
I mean, I'm sure
that's a pretty cool idea, though. Fair play to TSM. What they did is go the other way, Loco. Instead of going to Europe and getting some good rookies and putting them on their main squad, they're just trying to like put as many like half decent rookies in prison for as long as possible to just take them out of the talent pool. It's like you just eliminate the competition. That's pretty smart idea.
Actually, wait, AK is not a rookie. Did he play any split in LEC?
AK?
Or in LCS? Yeah.
The
AK
French
played
guy?
in Elements back in the day.
Way longer.
Yeah, right? So he's not a rookie. I mean, otherwise I would say you got that rookie.
Okay, so let's go to a different team, Fnatic. And the first question I actually want to ask you about is Mithy as a coach. So I think Mithy has all the strategic elements to being a coach. He's proven that over and over again.
Yeah.
But coaching isn't just about X's and O's. How do you think Mithy will do in terms of balancing out the personalities? Like they have Nemesis, Self-Made, Reckless. This is not going to be an easy job for a first-time coach.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not going to be an easy job for him. I think he's gonna do a good job, and ultimately he will become a very good coach. The question is, can he perform his job at his best ability in a team like that? And that's what I'm not sure. If he can, then that team will be insanely good, and if he can't, then that team will blow. It's one of those rosters that I see a bit as a 50-50. It's not really 50-50 because no matter what, this team will be top 4, for the purely of the quality of their members. Yeah. So it's not really a 50-50. It's more of a 50-50 if they will do what they are expected to do or not. But about Mithy in his role, I think that he will do a really good job. I think that if he can't handle with the pedigree that already has, with like being super smart player, with the fact that he won multiple championships in Europe, with the fact that he almost succeeded in TSM, which is a really big achievement. No, I'm kidding. But I think that he does have the pedigree to earn the respect of those players immediately, almost. And so I think that if he doesn't succeed as a coach in that team, I would put my hands on fire that it's not because of him.
Okay.
You know,
the thing is, I've already said my opinion about all that stuff. I would just say this. In terms of, like, as you say, the background he has, the kind of team I would have liked him to be on is like the Mad Lions team. Like, take a whole bunch of rookies, mold them, do what you want, tell them how to play the game, decide how the player plays. I think actually even it would give you more to do as a coach. You know, if you're in a team like Fnatic, a lot of it is going to be man management. Like, you're not really going to tell some of those players how to play the game and the way. Like, a lot of them are set in their ways anyway. Like, they're kind of developed in the players already.
Duncan, I know you don't probably watch like announcement videos, but Mithy had his announcement video like yesterday or today.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
Was he doing that thing again? I saw the thumbnail where he keeps it. Here's one of the things, Mithy, right? When you just wear like a jersey of a team or cool normal stuff, you just look like a cool guy. You could be a student or something. Every time you put on a shirt, it looks like you go to the prom, mate. It looks like you're about to put a carnation in and get like the fucking 17th ugliest girl in the class who said yes and get in a limousine and go to the prom. Like that, it's a bad look. Like you instantly look 14. So just go somewhere else. You don't have to wear a suit. Why are you working for the man with the suit and tie? You're a fucking... Just say, listen, I'm a motherfucking LEC champion, bitch. Just wear your G2 jersey. That'll be fucking swag right there. All the fucking championships on it. Be like, yeah, remember that?
Fashion aside, he was talking about all his success, and he didn't mention it by name, but he was like, I made some mistakes in my career. It's like there was bad experiences. Like, I wish I didn't. Like, it would have been so different if I made different choices. Obviously, like, he's talking about TSM and tearing up. Like, I felt bad at the moment, but I was like, damn, was TSM that bad of a decision where like you're fucking crying about it, where you're like, this was like career ruining decision? Because I didn't think it was like that bad for him.
No, because what you're missing is this though. Mm-hmm. Mithy is not this is one of the things people don't understand about him as a player. He's not a player who's like even though everyone will say they're not okay losing, a lot of people are. Like, if they had a good game and they lost, or they came close and they lost, or, you know what, they did slightly better than they thought at the beginning of the season. But Mithy's the sort of person where, remember, he's been to top 4 at Worlds. He's not playing to just come third in a gauntlet or something. He's playing only to go to Worlds. He's playing only to win a championship. He's playing only to do, hopefully, better than you did in your entire career before. So I can totally see why, to him, the TSM is a complete waste of time. They didn't win any championships. They didn't win Worlds at all. To me, that was a complete black hole in his career again. And remember, this is a guy before G2 and OG had that other black hole in his career where he was fucking banned for a while. He was in the NIP squad that could never get into LCS. So sadly, even though his resume is really, really good, if you look how long he's played, he's got some really fucked up like wilderness periods that are really depressing if you think of what a great player he was.
Loco, actually, you were at TSM, so you kind of can confirm more of what I'm saying, but I think there is a big reason why not only Mithy but also Yellowstar failed there, is because the culture in the coaching culture in America, and especially in TSM, I guess, is just people or coaches in general cannot handle players that are willing to teach other players. They can't handle. They need to have absolute control of everything, even if that means that their team is just going to lose. And for a player like Mithy, or at least the coaching culture here in Europe is way more, we just have an open discussion. The coach is there to take the points that you want to improve, to decide your mistakes and what you're going to work next week. But it's a team discussion and everyone is involved. And the main thing for you is that your players actively believe in what they are discussing. And I reached to points during my reviews where something that I believe is to be right, I just change it because my whole team believes that doing it in a different way is better. And I prefer that they are all in the same page and they do something that they believe in, instead of me just proving my fucking point and being right. And I just feel that in America, the culture is the opposite. You as a coach need to be right no matter what, even though that's worse. And players like Mithy, like Yellowstar, that are really good shot callers, do not have the freedom to play at the optimal way that they think, and that just kind of destroys them.
So I don't think that's generally the coaching culture of most Americans. That is a very much coaching culture of Korean coaches, and there were a lot of Korean coaches that came over, and during mid-diff period, it was Song. Song's someone that I believe is smart about the game, and Song's also someone that's very strong-minded on what he believes is how the game should be played.
And he had a lot of Koreans to communicate in that team, right?
During Mithy's time, there was no Koreans other than Mithy. It was like Lustboy was like the only other Korean on the team. So I can see like that being a problem for Mithy, like Mithy under Song's coaching.
Oh, and also, if you're a Korean coach and your things like, they will respect me and I will have the honor in the face and they will never talk out. Like, Mithy's just going to tell you if you think something's shit, if we did something wrong. Like, that's going to be a terrible culture clash.
Can you actually tell me that that's only a Korean thing, or that's something that since Korean coaches went to NA so early, also passed to other American coaches and American owners?
All right. So if I go top down, like TL, Kane is pretty diplomatic. Kane, even though he's a Korean coach, he's very open-minded. And his team wins. It's also dependent on the players you have, right? And then after TL, who's like the second team? Reaper. Reaper is like weirdly diplomatic. Like Reaper, whenever he's set on something, he'll do it. But when he also knows there's certain players, like he can't bend his way, like he'll let them do it. Like he's very flexible.
Good joke.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't totally just take out the MVP of the league for his own fucking ego and just play a guy that he liked. That didn't happen. We're just going to pretend that didn't happen in the World Championship. There's only been 9 World Championships ever, and he just took one and had to piss all over it. And then at the end, everyone said, well done, good job, see you next year. Can I pay you more money? Fucking hell, and here's a joke. Anyway,
we don't have to go into details about that one, but
why would we?
There are times where he's like...
That drama ball come out later. I'll get the second sauce, mate, and then it's over there. Actually, third or fourth.
He's extremely stubborn at times and extremely flexible at times. But I do agree, like at times he can be extremely stubborn. So Reaper, Song we already talked about. Kane we already talked about. Tony is very diplomatic from what I heard. Who else is like a coach? That's like... Who are the other coaches in NA? Duncan.
Actually, to be honest, I'm getting a bit bored.
Let's skip anyway. So we're talking about Fnatic, right?
Yeah.
Let's find out, what do you think of Fnatic's changes? So obviously they brought in Self-Made, and then the coach was the other angle. We did the coach angle. What do you think of upgrading?
I think it's an upgrade. Yeah.
Okay, why is that an upgrade then? Everyone was telling me last split he was supposed to be one of the best junglers, mate. Broxah.
No, and I still think that, but I also think that. At this point, where you do need to dominate the 2v2 mid jungle, it's clear that Broxah didn't have a good synergy with Nemesis, and it's also clear that Self-Made has. So that should allow them, in theory, to win more games. Now that it also means that I felt a bit that Broxah could be the only stable member in that team in a way, and Self-Made is not really stable in terms of his temperament. So that can be something that adds a bit to the fuel. Or adds a bit of fuel, but in terms of quality as a player, if you ignore emotions or anything and just look to the roster, it should work better because Broxah proved that it doesn't understand well Nemesis or vice versa, and Self-Made proved the other way, so it should work better.
Yeah. I mean, we've already talked about this one. I think this is just a slam dunk move. I can't see how it doesn't work. They're already all good players, and then you've just taken a player who has existing synergy with the mid and is a very good player in his own right. Like, basically, if this team did anything except finish top 2 or 3, I'd be incredibly shocked. It'd be a massive shock.
Can I play devil's advocate? Because we talked about...
Top 3, I would. Top 2, I wouldn't.
Because he
in the race, baby.
Going to be there. Well, we'll see about that.
Duncan, you talk about how great of a coach Youngbuck was and like how he really made this team work when there were so much volatile pieces. Andre talked about how Self-Made is another player with like strong opinion, another volatile piece that while agrees and works better with Nemesis and has that past synergy, might be a stronger voice than Broxah. Is there no situation where like the pieces don't fit together well without Youngbuck?
I mean, the problem is some of the problems were with Youngbuck and some of the players. So there is that angle. And then the other angle is like, I personally, I think that's all bullshit. Like, I don't actually care if I care more about the fact that I heard there was problems like in the game. People couldn't do things together. I mean, he's alluded to one of them, but other things as well. People's, the role and philosophy didn't fit. That's bigger to me than two people don't like each other. Like, I personally never found it hard in life to just not like someone, but be polite to them or get along with them. You know, like if you, especially if you're working towards the same goal. So I would just say in Europe, listen, Fnatic was an extreme case, but in Europe, there's plenty of teams that have like disagreements and people just don't get along at one point in time. Who cares? If they're a good player, you want to win, don't you? Both of you, right? Then fucking work together.
Okay.
I mean, I think it doesn't matter how good of a coach Young Buck was, in a sense where it's just naturally, when you have such a strong personalities, at some point you'll have to break up. I mean, it's just natural, you know, like it happens in every sport except obviously in football in 2 or 3 cases in England, but at some point you just get filled up with situations, and that injures your judgment when it's the same player, right? You'll always remember previous situations, your cup is already full, stuff like that. So I think that it's not the quality of Young Buck that is here in question, or the quality of the players that could have disagreements with him. Is just a natural ways of thing.
Okay.
Either he had to go or the players.
The funny thing is, I know I've mentioned it before, but a lot of American viewers might not understand this, is in LCS, you actually do see a lot of coaches that can be the coach for 2 or 3 years, and they can even be the coach when the team sucks, or they can be the coach when it does good and then does bad. In Europe, as Guilhoto's saying here, it's a very, very famous part of like football culture, basically, that like you can literally be, I mean, this has happened many times. You could be someone who a year ago or 2 years ago was the best manager in the league, and then you get fired at the end of the season because either, you know, team didn't live up to expectations, or as he's saying here, you've lost the ear of a player, like your star player doesn't care anymore, or the dressing room just turns against you. And if that happens, the funny thing is, in Europe, people get that that's a thing though. So even though you get fired, you can probably still get another job in the league. Like some other team will be like, right, well, we'll take a gamble that he's actually still got good skills. So it's actually not as big a deal in Europe, that kind of angle, you know. Yeah. It's just kind of taken for granted.
So we covered all the teams last time. Andre, what are some of the teams you have strong opinions on, and we can switch to them?
Oh, I have... I mean, yeah, ask me about everything, honestly. Like, SK, Schalke, like...
Do you think G2
bring it in.
Actually will be worse this year? Is there any reason why they would be? Do you believe in any of that bullshit, like they'll be depressed because they lost finals and it didn't happen for them and stuff?
Nah. Grabs is trying to save his ass. Grabs is just trying to save his ass. Because maybe I'm coming. Nah, I'm kidding. I don't think they'll be worse. There's no reason for them to be worse. I don't think that, watching their faces and stuff, I don't think that they were like... they were obviously mentally devastated because of losing the finals, but knowing those players, like I think that they are too good not to come back. You know, they are just too good at the game. So that they will still be strong, they will still be favorites, and that's just that they are just still the team to beat.
I have
no doubts about it.
I have 2 reasons why G2 might be worse than last year. One of them is championship fatigue. If you win that much, winning isn't that special to you. That first
How
trophy.
How do you know, Loco?
You did win 2 LCS titles, to be fair.
Yeah.
So
did you have championship fatigue?
Nah,
2-0 over you.
I don't think.
No.
Yes, that's true. I mean, it was LCS though.
No.
It was
They
not
still
LEC.
count though. They still count though.
Finals in LEC, it's like winning LCS.
So yeah, sure.
Then it's 2-2.
We don't have to talk about my case, but a lot of teams with like a lot of championships, they get championship fatigue. Like we see it in traditional sports, like we see in esports. Like when you win that much, winning loses that special edge for you. So that's one reason G2 might be worse. And another thing is G2 was miles above other teams in terms of how they played the map. The way they reset, the way they had pressure the whole time, the way Perks TP, like all these things made G2 special. And other teams were just like, wait, what the fuck is G2 doing? Like we're getting smacked around the map and we don't know what's going on. And when you're that ahead of other teams, people will look at your replay. They will look at your film and they will learn from you. So G2 innovated and they have that huge lead. And then now people get to catch up. They get to catch up on all the innovations that G2 made. So aren't those 2 valid reasons that G2 might not be as good next year?
I think something that can counter that is just that G2 last year, when they started screaming, they were just like a normal team. They were nothing special in the beginning of the year. Perfectly beatable. They were not doing anything extraordinary. And then they just gave a big jump. Because they can learn and they can adapt and they can do things that that other teams just don't understand that fast. They're like Astralis in a way. You figure them out and then somehow Vertigo pops in, and it's what the fuck's going on. And I think that this year can be the same. We gave an upgrade in our team. Fnatic gave a big upgrade on their team as well. So they will feel the competition rise, and then I think they'll just give a jump again. Plus, they do have that championship fatigue, but they also have that resent that they didn't win Worlds. And I think that for a team like G2 is not like winning a championship in Europe. That was, at least after Spring, I don't feel like that was their goal. win in Europe anymore. So I think that they will still have that hunger to come back, not have that fatigue, because maybe in spring I think that has some points that like maybe they are already thinking kind of at Worlds, so spring they will like lower their rhythm, but summer and ramping into Worlds, I think that they will end up being a better team than they were last summer and this Worlds.
Right, I've got a counterpoint to that whole thing, Loco, which is this: when you say like most people when they win, you know, it like doesn't have the same appeal, you know, kind of like you felt that feeling, and it's like it doesn't mean as much. Like I would agree for most people, because one of the things I've always found super whack, because I'm not like that as a person, because I've obviously like the only reason I'm here right now, mate, is because I kept going in the 2000s when there was no money and you had to work 100 hours a week, etc. So I've always had drive to accomplish things I want to accomplish, whether you get anything to come with it or not. You just do it for the sake of that's what you want to do. But I will say, I was shocked when I first discovered how in American sports there was that famous tradition, kind of in line with the discussion we were having earlier, where when you win the championship in American sports, I always thought, like in European soccer at the time, right, logically, you keep the same team together and you try and win again next year. And then I would see that it wouldn't even be the best players. They'd be like the 7th best player on the NBA team would go to like an average mid-tier team for slightly more money just to get the money, and he would have the logic you had, like, well, I got my ring, and you know now I'm going to get paid. And I always thought that's so whack. Like, what you might have won 3 rings if you just stayed there. Well, one of the things that is different is that's normal players, right? In my opinion, if you look at most of the players at G2, I can't say all of them because skill-wise they're all good, but I don't know personality-wise. Maybe a couple of them aren't so driven. A couple of them, though, people like Perks, etc., Caps, I think these players are incredibly driven. I would even say Jankos, if you look how badly his career went in terms of not winning when he was on good teams before. So I think these players are very driven. And I know that if you listen to the players who are really driven, they're the players where it's no coincidence in sports. They win all the championships. They don't just win once. They just keep beating you every year. Like there's a famous anecdote I remember hearing in an interview with Kobe Bryant, where he said that when I won the championship, I can't remember if he was meant the first time or another time or whatever. He said, when I won the championship, for the first day, I was fucking, I was cheering.
And on the next day, was he thinking on the next?
He said literally, the next day, the very next day, he was like, but if we don't win next year, then what the fuck was the point?
It was after the first one.
There you go. And right after that, it was right back to practice. So if you have a special type of player, I don't think that should exist for you. Like, to me, that actually is an indicator your players don't really have that. It's not that they're good. Like, a lot of people would do that, but they don't have the killer instinct, if you know what I mean.
What about the innovation aspect? G2 innovated?
I think that's the weirdest angle you've taken of all. So your logic goes like this, right? There was this group of players who had a totally new team because technically only 2 of them played in their roles in that team the year before. So essentially a new team. Like, once you change that many pieces, it's a new squad. There was a brand new squad, and what they did is they went against a team called Fnatic who had 4 of the same 5 players, and then even though the Fnatic team would already in theory should have been started at a higher level, they overcame everyone in Europe. Then they innovated multiple times, constantly getting ahead, so that even at Worlds, they were logically, in terms of the paradigm, worlds ahead of the Korean teams. They're just going to go, right, well, you're only allowed to do that once in your life, so I won't continue being a genius and just keep thinking of more shit. I'll just stop there. Like, what's the catch-up thing? How do you catch up to someone who didn't stop running? I don't get that logic, mate. Like, when I win the championship, you'll never win the championship. I'll just keep innovating and winning. You can keep being second place.
It's much harder.
They beat me playing funnel in the finals. Playing funnel. Think that doesn't hurt? I don't know, man.
That's not even supposed to work at that point in time as well. Like, that was a ridiculous thing to pull out.
Yeah. Well, G2's constantly innovating, but can we have that same expectation where there'll be levels and levels ahead?
5. They will continue to fucking lead the way, I guarantee it.
Okay. If so, that's an outlier thing. If G2 can do that, they're an outlier of a team.
Tell your boy Cloud Templar and tell every motherfucker in Korea if they can stop beating kids, even though actually the one that got blamed on that apparently didn't do that. So just probably shows what a fucked up culture they have. If you can all stop doing that, maybe you can actually start trying to beat Europeans. There we go.
Okay. So we talked G2, we talked Fnatic, we talked OG. What other team do you have? We also talked Mad Lions.
Just bring on everyone.
Schalke,
like
come on.
Schalke, okay,
come on then.
That's the fun one.
Right? So here's the question. Do you actually believe Forgiven will be a good player? Top player? The player you expect him to be?
A top player in his role or a top player in the league?
In his role, then. I mean, we said it's a pretty competitive role, to be fair.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of hard to say. I think more than depending on him, it will depend on Comp and Karzi. I think that Forgiven will probably be better than them, but they might surprise. I don't think he will be the best AD carry in the league. I don't think that's even up to discussion in a way. But he will obviously be a very, very good player, and no doubts the best player in his team. That's just no doubts.
Just wait till summer, then he'll be the best AD carry.
In summer, maybe. I mean, he's still coming back at form. I know you're a big fan of Forgiven, and it's like it's obviously he did stuff that no other AD carry did, but it's a new game now. I think
I'll tie it to what I just said about G2. Here's the other thing. Two things I know about Forgiven for a fact. One, he wants to win a lot, and a lot more than a lot of other players. And number two, he is someone who has a ridiculous work ethic. Like, if he really wants to do... That's the reason why in all those games he's had all that great status. It wasn't just that he loved the games. It was a challenge to him. He thought, like, right, in a new game, could I actually get to the top of this ladder? So he would do it. So as a result, as I say, don't know if he'll be the best in spring. I doubt it, personally. I mean, there's very good European AD carries. But if you give him till summer... Whatever happens in spring, I think it'll motivate him and he'll just go. So the point is this: if he could be, he will be in summer. If he doesn't, then he probably can never be.
Yeah, but I think personally, I think he has too much weight on his back.
Just not good enough teammates or whatever.
Yeah. So I think that will make harder for him. I think that Forgiven, or at least from the interviews that I've been seeing, obviously I didn't talk to him. I don't know what's up, but I think he will spend more time into trying to make his team better than trying to get back on his old form. And that's the reason why I'm saying that maybe he will not reach to the peak that everyone is expecting, because I feel him more like I feel like he wants to win more, and he knows that he will need his teammates more than before. Then he actually wants to like show himself in if that makes sense. So through that, that's what I think.
Duncan, you're someone that also talks to Forgiven separately, like outside of like the interviews and stuff. Do you think he's matured like throughout the year? Like, if he had a good place to work with teammates that might be significantly worse than him, especially in solo lane roles?
That's actually where, in theory, there shouldn't be as big a deal, because obviously he's done his entire career, except for like 1 year, with generally inferior players, definitely to him, but then also sometimes in the league. Like even some of them that at the time were good players, next year they weren't, or the split later they weren't. So like, I would just say he's basically used to that. That's the world he's lived in his whole career. Mm-hmm. I actually also think it's not a situation where, like, this is where people get lost on these things. Why would everyone understands the concept, right, of being a product of your environment? Mm-hmm. Why does Forgiven never get any credit for that? He was on bad teams repeatedly, and he had to move between teams all the time. You're also a product of your environment. Like, if you play on bad teams, I bet you do just give up on the fucking guy who's over here in this lane, and you do think this jungler's an idiot. I'll just play 2v3 without him. Like, of course you're going to think these things, especially if you have skill and work ethic, because at that point, especially if you don't know what Guilhoto was saying before, like, you could work with that guy and maybe help him understand. If you just think he's a trash player, what you're going to do is just go totally internally. You go, right, well, I can only rely on myself, so I've got to carry this entire game. I've got to just improve working on getting myself better, and maybe you just work with the support. That's about it. So I would say, like, I think actually he probably is ready to play with worse players now, especially because I also think he'll come back himself immediately and have to like level up. So you shouldn't be as arrogant when you come in the league and you're not the best. It's one thing if you're the best and you talk shit. If you're just used to be the best, listen, man, no one gives a fuck about 2 years ago. You got to be the best now. Like, I'm not going to be like building this guy up if he plays fucking whack for the first 6 weeks. No. I expect him to come to a certain level, because to me, that's the only reason to come back to play. So I don't think that'll be that big a deal in that sense. I do personally think, though, just like Dardoch, except I think Dardoc's a way more extreme version, because I've never heard of Forgiven doing any of the crazy shit that Dardoch did. But that's outside the game, basically. I'll just say this. I do think Forgiven's someone where, if earlier in his career he could have had like the team around him of veterans and they were all good players and people he respected, he probably wouldn't have developed into that sort of a player in terms of that mindset. So I actually don't think he'll be his absolute best. He probably should be on a top team if you want that, but I don't think it'll be a big problem personally.
Yeah,
I mean, all those players will just be pussycats and roll over and just construct their belly.
I think you can see it two ways, right? Like, I think every AD carry except B5, but when I say every AD carry, let's just exclude the Misfits one. I think every AD carry, actually let's exclude Crunshot as well, can compete with Forgiven in the league. The skill gap is not as big as it was before, if there is any, in some of the AD carries. I also think, personally, that it is a downgrade from the previous AD carry that Schalke had, obviously. I do think that. But I also think that you can see it both ways, right? You can see he has more competition, so he will seem less dominant, or you can see he has more competition, and due to his work ethic, he will be able to improve faster because he's practicing with better players, right? Which one of the twos will be? I don't know. I don't know Forgiven well enough, but I can see both ways of this going, honestly. Because like it's completely different when you could only improve by practicing against Reckless versus you can improve every single day against every single AD carry that you're playing in scrims. It's really different. From someone that has a good work ethic, that's completely different.
Yeah, agreed.
Because I was a little bit worried when I heard about this roster. I remember when we had Upset on the show, and he didn't directly say it, but he voiced his frustration with playing around the solo lanes that he had. And you're putting Forgiven, someone who doesn't have a lot of patience for players that can be a lot worse than him or doing their job, and he's forced into like 4v2 bot lane situations. So I was
hoping
really
that Aftershock gets buffed and Maokai can be permabanned and permapicked.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. Is like, here's the thing. He obviously has no issue with Odoam, right? They obviously just have a good understanding from the past. The big problem is this. I don't even think the other roles. I think the biggest problem is that they didn't get like a good jungler. That's the biggest issue to me. So if you already have like other laners who aren't going to be the best laners, I think he's frozen there. Are you still there?
looks
I
frozen.
think he's frozen.
Yeah.
I think he's lagged out. Wait a second.
There
we go. It's back. I think it just lagged.
Now I am.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right. I actually just think it's the jungle
Yeah,
angle that I'm worried about. Because like, how can the jungler still not be known right now?
Yeah.
If it's Gileas, what's your thought? Because that's one of the rumors.
If it's who?
Gileas. Yeah.
I don't know. I think honestly, like I worked with Gileas. I think that all this Gileas is problematic or something like that. It's actually bullshit. Like I never had any issue working with Gileas. He always tried. He was like with rookier or way less experienced players, and he tried to do his best to lead them in the right direction. So I don't think that him playing with someone like Forgiven and Odo Amnens and Dreams, that he would put more fuel into the problems. I honestly don't think that as well. I mean, Gillis is also quite high in the ladder, so honestly, I think he would be a good addition. If he would suddenly make them a championship team, no, but I don't think any jungler could make that. So
no, of course not. Here's the thing though, Loco. Another thing you didn't take into account as well, for G2 as well as this team. Here's another reason why G2 should be very motivated. The game's changed. It isn't the same game. Maybe if it was Counter-Strike, I'd get what you mean. If someone's won a lot of championships in the team, they feel like they had a dip in form. Yeah, it can get you have to find internal validation, etc. But if the game itself changes, that's a new challenge right there. You might not even be as good at your role. So I would say the way that should apply to this team isn't the hype around most of the changes. It isn't about just top lane carries. It's probably going to be bot lane centric again.
Very bot lane focused. Like
that's perfect for this team. Everyone who thinks Odoamne is shit. Listen, I know he has had a couple of years now where he just hasn't had that great an impact in the team. So I'm starting to worry myself. I have always thought he was a very good player in terms of past before that. I thought he was a player who was an amazing weak side player. Obviously, he had the Worlds where he carried when he had a few champions he could. So if you give Odoamne, mate, a fucking weaker top lane, that's his playground, mate. And then if you're making the bot lane more powerful, that's also not that bad for this team. The problem they had last year was their entire team ran through one guy who was the AD carry in a fucking meta where the AD carry was probably the least important laner. Was the guy who didn't matter in the early point. So the problem in that game was, it's like every Schalke game, you just started a clock watch. And if it didn't get to a certain time, Upset couldn't have done anything. Like, what's he going to do? The game was over by then, you know.
Let's move on to a different team. I'm very curious about XL, and I'm curious about what Andre's thoughts are on Mickey, because it seems like Andre's very pro-European player. So, yeah, what's your thoughts on
Except
XL?
on this team.
What's your thoughts on...
No, I'm also pro-European players for my team. I just like to win more, and I think I have a better chance. That's the only thing. I believe
we'll
XL...
see what's in your destiny then.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I'll be upset.
What's your first thoughts on Mickey re-signing for XL?
I think that it obviously depends what they could get. Keep in mind that I believe XL needs to get UK contracts, and with, I don't know if that affects or not, but with this whole Brexit thing, maybe it's harder to get, for example, a visa for some players like Milica. which from Serbia they do have. I know from the Spanish league they do have a bit more difficulty into getting visa.
Wow, I didn't even think of
It
that.
takes longer. They have to go and apply in person.
Yeah, exactly.
Tougher.
So I don't know if that has something to do, but with the options that they had, I mean, honestly, Mithy didn't do a bad split. Is he a good mid laner? I don't think so. With the mid lane talent that we have, I think that maybe they could have gone better. But at the same time, you keep the jungler and the mid laner. Probably some synergy is still there. They just improved their bot lane. It is a bot lane that doesn't communicate much, so I think that Kadril will have to do a big job. It's like bot lane doesn't talk much, 2 Koreans and Kadril. So if Kadril can lead in terms of shot calling, that is an improvement from last year. Obviously, of course it is. But I don't know. Mickey's just a weird piece. To be fair, the way that I like to read this is, if Young Buck said yes, because I also heard some bullshit story that Young Buck didn't chose the roster. Like, well, what am I hearing? Like, of course he chose the roster. Of course he had a say on the roster. So if Young Buck thinks that Mickey is a good fit, I'm just gonna trust Young Buck. So I don't even remember where I heard it. I just remember that I heard
veteran
Young
said
Buck
that.
didn't chose the roster. Okay, then that's not true. Obviously, like,
Damn.
I mean, that's just not true. Like, I mean, I know it, for example, from Fabian. You know, like Fabian is a good friend of mine. He was my sports psychologist. Went there, and of course they had the same the roster. Like, what? Every single coach has. Like, I actually was also a veteran, right? That said that the story that GMs, coaches now don't have inputs on the roster, and GMs, etc., etc. Like, of course, coaches have input on the roster. In Europe, I don't know how it works in America, but in Europe, of course.
Everywhere, like that's like kind of the thing, no? Like, aren't coaches and GM are supposed to work together to get the roster?
Yeah, exactly.
GM isn't just putting a roster in front of you and being like, "This is what you're gonna do."
He just doesn't. The Fisher doesn't just go to me and like, "Mate, saw this guy, really fucking good. I don't care your opinion."
Okay.
The same way that, for example, it's not Excel with Young Buck's not gonna say, "Young Buck, we really want you. The team is already closed. We got Mickey, all these guys, signed Patrick, signed, how is North Carolina name now? Torre, no?
Yeah, Torre.
Tor. Do you want to join the team? Yes, no, the roster is locked. Of course it doesn't work like that.
How do you think... go ahead, Duncan.
Did actually Febevan want to play in LEC again? Is he actually active?
He's subbed for Misfits. They announced today that he's on the roster.
Because that's one right there where, like, I know obviously, like, first of all, the leader topic, if people don't know, it's not that teams didn't want him. It's that unfortunately Misfits waited till the very last fucking minute to not bring him along, basically. So, in my opinion, that's the problem with
I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's one correction I want to make. So, from what I heard, he was allowed to shop around and he got to talk to teams, and none of them, like, wanted to get him. And then that's why he became a free agent later. It was released later that he's a free agent, but he did get a chance to talk to all the teams.
Well, in that case, that's the angle I can't understand this particular move. And in fact, I don't even understand the XL move on that one. It's like, I don't know why you would want Mickey rather than Febevan or Leader. Like, Leader's got the upside and Febevan has the pedigree, you know.
From what I've heard, Febevan rejected XL.
Wow.
From what I've heard. Might be wrong. So I do think that was an option on the table for them.
Okay.
Damn. Dude, anytime I have to interrupt, even for a correction, I'm like, holy fuck, don't murder me, Duncan.
and
why do you do it in the middle of a sentence?
To be honest, like, I think Misfits was a bit dirty on the leader situation. No, I mean, like, this guy managed to post a tweet like really, really late in the whole thing. So maybe Mickey was already signed. You know, who knows? I do know that some teams signed their mid laner and then holy shit, leader. Probably was Immortals that signed Aka? It was, right?
Yeah,
it was
Immortals Aka.
Probably. I mean, Aka was announced like one day after or one day earlier. I don't remember exactly from leaders. So they probably didn't even have the chance. Like I saw a lot of people on Reddit. Immortals, why didn't you get leader? And I mean, maybe they didn't even have the chance to get it. You know?
Yeah, but I'll give you a counterpoint to that. Right. So. Let me think how you explain this example. Okay, I'll give you a classic example, which is the draft in League of Legends.
Yeah.
So if the other guy takes like a key role that has counter picks, like the top lane or the mid lane, if he takes that early, why would I take mine second? I can take it at the end of the game. I can wait and see what I do with the rest of the draft. I can just wait because I don't have any pressure now to pick my champion. I can go anytime I want on it. So if you're going to sign Acre, right, I might be wrong here. Maybe everyone in the world was fucking bidding war for this guy. I don't think so. Personally, I think Acre's chance was Immortals or nothing. So what you do if you're Immortals, listen to me, Immortals, is you just go, cool, we have Acre if we want. I'll wait till the last day of the signing window. And then you have a chance to look at other people. And you know what? At the end, I'm pretty sure when I call up Acre, first fucking ring, even though actually the first ring from the telephone company is on your side, not theirs, but that's how amazing he wants to be in Immortals. First ring, he just senses it. Yes, please, I'm in. Yeah, sorry, Mum, I'm at the very important call. Yes, I'm in. This guy, there's no way he's saying no, is he? So, why are you signing this motherfucker early in the season? What are you doing?
I mean, a lot of people have reason. Like, why did we announce the roster so early? You know our IPO thing, right?
Yes.
So because of that, we do have to announce our roster early. Maybe Immortals had like some boot camp planned or some shit. I don't know. Maybe they just needed a player there really early, or maybe they just assumed that leader. This could also happen. Or maybe they just heard rumors that leader was staying in Misfits, so they just give up on it. So like, why am I gonna wait? Like. I don't. It's super hard to understand some stuff that happened on the off season because there's just so much shit behind the scenes. And by behind the scenes, I don't only mean between teams or between teams and players, but also between organizations and obligations that they have, and that's like super hard to understand.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, Loco, shoot me another team.
Shoot you another team.
Misfits is like
skip that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we go to Vitality, one question I want to have for you is, what do you think of Zizuke's skill level? Because obviously he's starting in North America for Evil Geniuses, and he's not starting in LEC. It's like, what's your general thoughts on Zizuke not starting? I
also think that Vitality fucked up their players pretty badly as well. It was another org that did it, and Yamato. I think that their announcement was really late. Me being friends with Attila, so obviously we talked during the off season. He was super convinced that he was staying until 1 week before free agency or something like that. And I heard rumors, like he was convinced, and I heard rumors that he was gone like 1 month and a half before he even knew that he was gone.
Well, so better than finding out through Reddit.
Yeah, I mean,
that's happened to players.
Yeah, I don't know. And Mowgli was like 1 day before free agency and shit like that. Like, I mean, to be honest, I can't even be mad at orgs. Like, right? This is they need to make sure that they do their best to win, and Vitality thought this was nice. So I'm not even mad or anything. It's just that in the case of Jizuke, he was released super late as well, and I know that he got a lot of offers from NA, and he wanted the roster that could compete. And honestly, there are only 2-3 rosters that can compete in NA, and one of them is Evil Geniuses. About his skill level and having worked with him, he's a really good player that had a bad year. That's my opinion. He had a bad year. He had some problems, some personal issues as well. And I just remember back when we were at Giants, he was a mechanical beast. Like he's really fucking good individually. But he does need a jungler to play around him a lot. He doesn't give a shit if enemy jungler is there. He's one of those guys that you can say enemy jungler is mid, and his answer will be something like, I'll try to outplay 1v2. And sometimes he does, and sometimes he doesn't.
Yeah, I would just say this. Listen, I'll leave the implication built in because we all know like what Portuguese people are like with each other. So I'll just say this. Who the fuck do you think was winning those games in Vitality for the last 2 years? Kabashard and fucking Jizuke. That's it. They're superstar players. Obviously, they're good enough quality to be in LEC. They can definitely be in LCS. Like, I think those are both good players. I mean, actually, Kabashard's a bit better, but whatever. They're both pretty good players in their role. So, like, I would just say, assuming you don't think Vitality was a super team, it's obvious who the good players were in that team. Like, you could put it this way: you couldn't be propped up and play the style that Jizuke does. Like, that just wouldn't work.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, don't forget that Jizuke was a rookie that went to Worlds and beat RNG in his first year. I mean, if he was a rookie, it had to be in his first year, but we just ignored that.
Sure. It's pretty good.
I mean, it's he got the exact same result as Double Lift got in all his years at Worlds, so
there you go.
It's just a fact.
So the Vitality roster is Kabashard, Skeens, Militia, Comp, and Jack Troll.
Wait, is it confirmed or in theory? In theory, right? Let's just assume that that's the roster.
We can say,
those are rumors.
Yeah, we can talk about it as rumors.
And
but
there's
pretty
no
confirmed.
AD carry announced, right?
Comp.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
So what's your general thoughts on the rumored roster?
I think Cabo is obviously really good. Skins doesn't speak English properly, I think. Maybe now he's better in that sense. So at least I think Skins is like insanely good mechanically. I'm just a bit biased towards junglers / supports that don't actually talk. Because I mean they're not doing anything. They're just like PV farming camps and shit.
Yeah, like
I mean, I'm just biased like towards. For my team, jungler and support need to talk. That's all. I will not judge other teams. But Skins is really, really fucking good mechanically. Milica, it's actually an interesting thing because even though I think he's a good mid laner, I think he's being a bit overhyped. Just because keep in mind that last year 3 rookies left: Nemesis, Humanoid, Abadaga, and 2 of them, Nemesis and Humanoid, were considered by far the best mid laners in EU Masters. And now these 3 left, so the competition is weaker. So Milica is the next on the list, but he was already the next on the list of these 2 last year in EU Masters, right? That didn't change. So I think that they will keep one on his translation, so he should be around top 5 mid laners at best. Which is actually really good for
Europe's pretty good.
Yeah, in Europe it's pretty good. But I think that people maybe are start penning him a bit as like the next Nemesis, the next Humanoid. I don't think he'll reach those highs. And Comp is just gonna be a superstar for sure. And then there's Jack Troll.
There's Jack Troll. How do you think he stayed on the roster? This one's crazy for me because in EU,
maybe he's cheap. Who the fuck knows?
I mean, maybe it's cheap. Maybe they are waiting for someone to end school in spring and join them in summer, just like Rogue did. Maybe, I don't know. Can be like a million reasons. Maybe they just. I mean, he was always high in the ladder, you know, like, and being high in the ladder, maybe they just think that the problem of the bot lane was not him, right? Sometimes it's just hard to see. I don't know. Maybe they'll just give him another chance. I think that the 0-13 Tamkench game was probably not Attila's fault, but Attila also had some pretty bad games as well. So I don't know.
I understand that in NA.
I will not judge. I think Comp is good. I think that they have been duo queuing. So in the case that potentially is Comp because it's not confirmed, and I can't confirm anything. They are having good results in duo queues, so they'll probably do well as a bot lane. My question marks about that roster are more into communication aspects. Jack Troll does speak, but he's not like an insane shot caller or anything, and Skins not being able to speak that big of English, at least from what I remember when I heard him communicating, might be an issue. But at the same time, Cabochard is like so fucking good at these aspects. Like Cabochard is such a good leader, such a good shot caller, one of the few top laners that can actually shot call the 4 guys, you know what I mean, right, Loco? Like when you always need someone that guides the 4-man, and Cabo is one of the few top laners that can actually do it for the 4-man, which is absolutely insane. So I think he can compensate a lot of that, and in theory it is a roster to be excited of. I think
my only concern for this one is like this is something someone told me, so I'm hoping I'm even remembering like but I'm pretty sure it was Milicia. Someone told me that in his team in EU Masters / national level, that he basically had a jungler whose job was just to camp hard for the mid lane. So like
that's what he was doing. Yeah,
that will make you look a lot better, and also you are not going to get that in LEC. So like that doesn't mean you're not going to be a good player, but I just have to see it happen, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think Milica showed signs of being quite a good player. Razork was indeed camping, but I also think that's part of. I mean, you're not gonna camp the Cho'Gath of the Antonio.
Yeah, sure.
And your win condition needs to be that. And
yeah,
one of the reasons why I think that the Misfits roster can collapse a bit is because maybe it wasn't the plan to camp, but Razork in itself, it's not someone that thinks that much from his own head. Which means that it could actually, you can see it both ways, right? If it was Milica calling on the exact timing and he was the only one on the team doing that, then it's actually really good. Because then he can lead a 2v2 mid-jungle with Skins that doesn't speak that much English, and that has a chance to work. So, I mean, depends a bit of the way that you're seeing. I actually heard Milica communicating and I think he will do a good job. I just don't want people to expect him to be at the level of Nemesis and Humanoid, because that's not going to happen.
Okay. Loco, did you
What's
ever
up?
hear any
Rogue.
rumors? 'Cause I never heard any. Were there ever any rumors from like NA teams giving Cabochard offers?
Cabochard? Not that I know of.
Because that's one thing I don't get about this team. I really don't understand. Like, on the one level I do, which is unfortunately because it's a French organisation, like, they want to have French players and French teams in their esports org, and supposedly that their owner gets super involved with all the fucking players who are French and stuff. So maybe there's like a personal connection there. But for me, Cabochard is way too good to be on a team like this. Why isn't he on one of the best fucking teams in Europe?
Yeah, he was under contract, wasn't he?
You can buy
Yeah, but
people
I-
out, you know.
I think he could replace Buipo, for example. Yeah.
Exactly, there you go. And if you're saying he's like got shot calling components, he's super stable, he can play weak side and strong side. I think he's like unless you're based in G2.
I didn't say that last sentence. I don't know if he can play weak side. I never saw him play weak side. In every single team that he played, he always played strong side.
I've seen plenty of times where they were going fucking bot lane on Vitality, so he never died doing that. So
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean that's not really the same as playing weak side.
no, of course not.
No, but I know I know what you mean. He's someone that can adapt to it, but I'm not saying he's bad playing weak side. I just never saw him doing it. But as we said before, right? If Chizuka and Cabo didn't carry that team, who would?
It is weird seeing like really good players like kind of stay on teams that they should move on from, and like they could ask for buyouts, like they could ask to get like out of their contracts. Like players actively do that, and they usually get moved. Like Cody, did he want to stay on Dignitas or did he want to join 100 Deep? Like of course he wanted to join 100 Deep. He was still under contract, and he like wiggled himself out. And
Yeah,
Cabo could
but,
do the same kind of wiggling
No, he couldn't.
at all. Like he can't.
I mean, I don't because this is where you don't understand, Loco, is that we are talking about Europe, not America. We don't pay 1.5 million for a random support player in buyouts. We don't pay buyouts, kind of. We have such a big talent pool that if, for example, if you're Vitality and you want to send Cabochard away, right? You're not gonna ask a 20k buyout. I mean, that's just not gonna happen. He's valued way more. So you're gonna ask for a big buyout, and the team is gonna say, "Nah, I'm just nah." I have Dan who signed for Misfits that costs me less, and I have a couple more players in the EU Masters that I can get that will not need me to pay 600, 700, 1 million buyout. Because that's I mean sometimes it's values that are bigger than budgets. Like it's
I guess
it doesn't make sense for Europe to pay big buyouts.
Oh,
so
fair enough.
yeah.
so I think it's really hard for him to leave.
So let's go to the team you've been so excited for, Rogue. It's Finn up top, Inspired in jungle, Larson in mid lane, Hansama AD carry, and Vander support.
Yeah, it's same team as last summer, upgrade in bot lane. I don't think it's as a big upgrade as people think. I think it's an upgrade, but it's not like they needed much more because their mid jungle was doing most of the work. I think Inspired is really good. Larson as well, but I just think that the key of that team, or the one that surprised me the most, was actually Inspired. Finn, I think it comes a bit on the hype. I think that Finn benefits a bit from the pool of top laners being stagnate, unlike mid jungle and AD. If you see, for example, mid 1 year and a half ago, only 2 mid laners are now playing mid, which is Nuktak and Caps, but top lane, like most of them are still playing. And you only have like now the addition of Arome, Damdan come instead of Soas, and now him, Finn. So like I think he benefits a bit from that. I don't think he's like as good as Inspired and Larson. Those are the two guys that I'm really looking to in that Rogue team. And then Hansama and Vander, I think it's going to be about dominating the strong laning phase. Findo playing weak side, that is something that I also like to see, because I think that he's actually one of the top laners that can do it, and the fact that he's young also makes it, in a way, or not young in terms of age, but young in terms of experience, makes it easier to learn it. So I do think it's a roster to be on around the top 4. Emo. in my opinion. Yeah.
Duncan, did you get to check out the Larson AMA?
No. The problem was I went to it, but then it was one of those ones where like it was like fucking posted on the like rogue account or something. So it's like if I think someone sat behind him going like, "Oh, good answer," like you're not even going to get real answers for that.
Well,
was there something spicy in there?
There's something that actually mentioned you by name because one of the fans asked, "What do you think about Doran's comparison to Froggen to you?" Like he called you basically the new Froggen. Like he said, "I really disagree with that. Like I have a way more diverse style than Froggen, so I don't like that comparison." What's your thoughts on?
So he's an idiot then, right? Okay, because he thinks if you just say a buzzword like diverse, then that means something. That means nothing. What does diverse mean?
No, I mean, I guess he means that Froggen is way more known by the fact that he just play like scaling, wave clearers, mid laners, and then just waits for late. And he can play the Yasuos, Irelias, Akalis, melee champions, AD champions that Froggen is not known for. I think that's more of what
because
he
I
means.
never ever said that he has the same champion pool as Froggen. So where would the comparison be? You notice how he made an assumption himself and then dismissed the assumption as stupid on the basis of an assumption only he made. The whole entire way, I've never mentioned a fucking champion with Larson. I said in terms of like his mindset as a player, like as compared to a Caps or a leader who will go balls deep, even if he plays the champion Guilhoto was talking about now, he is more of a conservative style of player in my opinion. He is someone who is more about stability in the lane. So that's the comparison I drew, because the point is there aren't many players like Froggen. Obviously, this guy just heard "you are Froggen" and he goes, right, first of all, my name's Larson, and then secondly, I don't even play all the same champions, and thirdly, I'm from fucking Sweden. You're so ignorant. It's like, yeah, brilliant. So, but actually, you know what? You're the new nemesis, mate. A fucking annoying little cunt who just talks absolute shit and doesn't even bother listening to what anyone else is saying. Hope you fail at Worlds as well.
I don't think he was like, "Oh, I'm not Froggen."
Jesus, calm down.
Listen, mate, you come at the king, you best not fucking miss. And that
Just
one
go
tipped by the edge of my cheek, didn't it? So there won't be a fucking warning shot after that.
Nah, I think that his playstyle is different than Froggen. That is his playstyle in a way where at least what he's required from a team. But I also think that in a way, just explaining, he does group a lot, way more with his jungler to roam to side lanes, try to dive, try to get enemy jungler, play for jungle advantage. That's why their Olaf was so successful. It was not only because Inspire was such a good Olaf, but it's also because Larson was willing to let a slow push to the enemy mid laner in order to go to take enemy raptors, for example. And Froggen would just take the enemy raptors himself. So the play style is different. But I also think that Froggen wait. I also think that Froggen was always on teams where he needed this.
It's almost like he didn't have Vander and Inspired, did he?
Oh, and now I froze.
Oh.
No, you hear. It's just lagging on the camera a bit. I think I can hear you, though.
The exact answer was, I'm not a fan of it because our styles are not super similar and I want to become the better he was. He didn't use the word diverse. That was me paraphrasing.
I gigalagged. Yeah, I'm back. I was just saying.
You only missed like the last second, I think.
Yeah, I was just saying that Froggen just literally had always the need to have those resources in order for his team to win. And Larson didn't. And then I think that once you assume that playstyle and that gave you every single time results or decent results at least, then you just don't change and you just don't adapt. And that's what I think he means.
The problem is this. I've said this a million times. No one listens. Now, to be fair, Froggen doesn't help me because he puts himself in these situations again and again. But pick out a team in the last 4 years where Froggen had a good jungler and or really good support. Either.
Yeah,
I don't need both. I need one. I need a really good jungler.
Yeah, but that's literally what I'm
If you don't have either, why the fuck would you roam? Does anyone understand what I'm talking about here?
That's what I'm saying to you. I'm literally saying that.
You're missing the point. You're missing the point here.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I understand your point. This is my point. We don't know what Froggen would do. We don't know what he would do if he had Jankos and Vander. We don't know what he would do with those players. As you said, there's two ways it can go. Either he's the same player and he never changed, or he's the same player and now, as you're saying, it just was the logical scenario. Like, give me the resources, I'll carry, and as a result, to carry in a team like I've got an NA, I'll have to farm up, get to the late game, and have a team fight, right? So the problem is, we've never actually run the experiment. You know what? I'd love to see that. I'd love to see if you gave him, doesn't have to even be self-made and all European players, give him American players, give him Dardoch, and give him fucking Smoothie. There you go.
Well, he got Greg again.
If he has those players, and then he just literally only farms, I'll agree with you. He's actually not the best player, or he's very like, I won't say one dimension, but he just only got one style he's willing to play. He's too stubborn.
Yeah. I'm also though okay, I'll have to say, I'm also the opinion that it would be hard for him to be a top mid laner in Europe right now. My opinion.
Yeah, we can't know, can we? So he's only
Yeah,
playing
we can't know.
LCS.
We can't know. But that's just nice. But he played in LCS, so he would have an excuse.
I mean, Loco didn't even think he was good enough for LCS, but
What?
I disagree.
I never said he wasn't good enough for LCS.
I think he's good.
You literally in the spring split said he was washed up.
I don't think. I probably said unadaptable.
What you do is, and this is what you always do. When you change your opinion, you just do the Men in Black memory wipe, you delete it, and then you just only have the opinion you have now. I have like a fucking, for stuff like this, a borderline photographic memory. So you can fuck with me all you want, mate. I'll let the fans decide whether or not you said that.
No,
Okay.
I mean, he would obviously be good for NA. I just don't know how much he's asking for. So maybe that
What
has
I'll
something
say is
to do.
this.
Wait, is he still an import?
Yeah, he's
No,
still
it
an
is for
import.
now. I think it's like another year or something.
2021, where he
The
becomes
big
not
problem
import.
Froggen has is this: if you actually have ever talked to him or watched him play solo queue,
No, I don't know.
he
Like
doesn't
this
just,
shit
he
is
doesn't
really
just
fucking
whatever.
bad.
We'll wait till he got there. You back. If you ever watch him in those scenarios, he definitely doesn't just play mages. So I like, unless he somehow is just incapable of doing that on stage, he clearly has the skill to do it. I personally always suggest that. I told you this a million times, Loco. But this is actually an area where I think you're very poor at understanding the game League of Legends, is you don't understand role balance in the game. You really don't. Like, you will
explain.
take a team with like a sick fucking AD carry, terrible support, terrible jungler, and you'll be like, why doesn't he just play more up and just fucking dominate? It's like, how could he, you cocksucker? Like, he hasn't got anything to work with. The other guy's just ready to gangbang his face when he gets halfway up the lane. So the area you never got right is this. You were bigging up your boy Pobelter when he was playing Aurelia and stuff like that. Mate, I wish a motherfucker would give Froggen a team like Pobelter had at that time. Give him those players that he had. But he could play the fuck out of an Aurelia, a Talon, all that sort of shit. Kiana. The point is, in his team, how could you? I said this at the beginning of the split, that they would be a top 4 team, even though I told you the players were bad. I told you some of those players would not actually make it as players. I told you it would be carried by Froggen and Haunter. Now, you didn't even say they'd be there, so shut the fuck up.
Wait. Dude, they didn't make playoffs in summer. What the hell?
Oh, my bad. So when I said they'd be top 4 in spring, they didn't make playoffs in summer. Right, shit. I think that's the end of the episode. Shit, thanks for coming on, Guilhoto. It was great. And let's just hope we have a show for next year. And that thanks to all the patrons. Butt powder up your ass. And that's the end. Goodbye. End the show.
Regarding like the role balance part, I think Froggen, it's not really like
Don't
a role
try.
balance thing. Froggen knows how to play these like teamfight champions and how to tell his
Nah,
team-
he doesn't. He doesn't. All he knows how to do is play mages. Let's just leave it with your narrative. It's not. You know what? I've realised this on the topic of reckless, forgiven, Frog. I'm not having any more discussion.
I mean, okay, just
I'll present evidence to you, and you literally deny it. Like, you literally ranked Froggen something like the 6th best mid laner in summer. You were a fucking joke. He was almost in the playoffs. What player on his team was good? If you understand role balance, what player on his team was
Haunter.
good? You didn't even. You didn't have you didn't have Haunter in your top whatever. If you're gonna lie, there's no point doing the fucking episode.
Duncan,
How many episodes are you gonna lie? I'm not. It's over.
Okay.
It's over. It's over. This conversation has ended. This conversation has ended. It's over. This conversation has ended. You're gonna move to another topic now. It's over.
All right. What topic do you want to move? What topic do you want to move to?
I don't want to talk about any more topics. You talk. You know what you did this whole episode? You sat there giving no information yourself because you don't know anything about Europe. You literally just said the roster moves, and then every time one of us would make a point, you do this like stupid little laugh as though like you were reacting like fucking Twitch chat. Like, you didn't contribute anything. So
I
try
forget.
keep carrying the show. And then, by the way, when I have to carry the show, I have to literally go outside the bounds of my fucking lane and talk about players I barely even know and say like, I think I heard someone said this. What do you think of that? And then he just goes, that's not even true, you fucking idiot. And I go, brilliant. I'll just take it again, shall I? Then we'll go to the next topic. And you never fucking contributed anything. Why did you have a second LEC episode when we talked about 98% of the topics on the other one? It's not interesting. I told you at the beginning of the show. If you think this is funny, then fucking GG. And by the way, when this show ends, don't do another call to me. I'm going to fucking turn Discord off. You will not be talking to me until the next episode.
Okay, sure.
I actually could be going and work. They make everyone who's watching this show. I've never made a fucking cent from this show ever in my life, and I probably never will unless I bring in a sponsor next year. Locodoco is so fucking stupid. He had the balls as someone fresh to content creation to tell me he would make me 6 figures a year off this fucking show and sponsorship. He's got jack squat, nothing. So I do this show. I could literally be making a video that I could make hundreds of dollars off right now. I could make an article that's actually my fucking wheelhouse, stuff I know about history, make hundreds of dollars now. Instead, I waste my time here doing a shit stand-up comedy act to prop your ass up, and then you think it's fucking hilarious at the end to try and just dog me like, you like a player, so I'll just lie about everything I ever said and keep changing my... They're brilliant. They're great. What a great act we have in it.
If you're gonna constantly say I'm lying regarding like the Haunter angle, or like I'm lying about like the players I didn't rank in the top...
Should we end the show? You want to end the show, motherfucker? Shall we end the show?
If you're Duncan, if you're gonna say like I lied, right, and then
yeah, you're a liar. What are you gonna do about it? Sit there and just smoke and say nothing and contribute nothing. Fuck me. That'll be like every episode.
If I'm trying to like tell you like, oh, I didn't lie about this part with like you just straight telling me
I'm not interested in hearing things I've actually heard you say to my face and then tell me it didn't happen. So I'm not interested. I told you to stop this conversation. You don't understand, do you? Now I know what it was like in Team Liquid.
Oh my god.
No wonder Dardock turned into a fucking serial killer or something. I wouldn't be able to handle it around you, mate. I'm surprised you just fucking told me the shit.
Okay.
It's garbage, isn't it?
Okay,
Absolute garbage.
Just wait 10 seconds. I just need to breathe a little bit. Like this is actually, I think similar to murder already. Like
I know, it's just not interesting, isn't it? What's great is you don't know this, but Locodoco's feelings are really hurt, and I'm fucking glad. So just end the show. I'm not interested. Just end the fucking show. I'll do that. Right, you know what? I'll do what you need me to do. It's the only way you'll do it.
Jesus. Okay. We'll go to Patreon. Thank you. Oof. All right. Well, thank you to our gold Patreon supporters, Butt Pounder 420, Tobias Bernasconi, and Icelandic C9 fan. Thank you guys for making the show happen, and oh yeah.